Good afternoon, good evening, and good day. I am not ready yet. Got up 3 hours early and then had a wiggly baby. So the hands didn't work because every time you try to click on something, she wiggles and then you end up clicking on stuff you don't want. So bear with me. All right, so let's check the sound. All right, that's good. Let's open up your chat. Okay. I've got most of the articles in the document, although the document's not synced from the phone. Let me get that going. All right, so let me do that is to close the document and pull this down. There we go. All right, almost there, almost there. This button. No, I don't want what? All right, duplicate this. No, I don't want to. I want to open that. Where'd it go? Not where you'd expect. So anyway, good afternoon, good evening, good day, and good morning to those of you on the West Coast. And got a lot to talk about today. And let's see. I don't see anybody in chat, but I thought I'd check the audio. Yeah, okay, audio's good. All right, so whenever you guys get to chat, we'll say good morning. And let's start with let's start with this one, I guess. Thankfully, this week I did read a bunch of them, but I didn't get them all. So let's share screen. Let's just go with this CNN article, I suppose, and go into Blogger React view. There. All right. Let me finish fixing that other item. All right, so that's turned on. No, that's the wrong item. All right, that's turned on. And then we got to put it in the right folder before I forget. The live stream, yes. Save and close. All right, so I don't know. I don't remember this one. This 100% solar community endured Hurricane Ian with no loss of power and minimal damage. I don't know that the damage can be attributed to solar, but staying online, definitely, especially with batteries. Let's see, Fort Myers. No, this one I did not read. I pulled it up so I could read it. That's why it's at the top, so I'd remember to read it. Solar on the roofs. See, the cool thing about this is the solar panels are generally rated for pretty severe storms. I think the ones on my roof are rated for 165 miles an hour, and anything above that is on the insurance company. But this storm was up there. I think it was like 2 or 3 miles an hour short of a Category 5. So this would have been above that. But it wouldn't be the first time we found some products that actually are over the their rating, because that's the best way to guarantee that they'll outlast the warranty, is just to be a little bit better spec than they say they're supposed to be. This is a long article. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it in the YouTube chat. For those of you on other platforms, you'll have to check it out on YouTube. Just because my multi-chat is still broken thanks to Facebook and LinkedIn, apparently. I could drop them and that get multi-chat back, but a bunch of you come through Facebook, so I don't know if that's a wise move. I don't know how many of you actually come through LinkedIn, because I've never seen anybody message back, and the stats aren't exactly clear on that. So we'll see if it's worth doing those. All right, so there's my YouTube chat, and I'll just pop it on screen for a minute for those of you guys. You can pause it if you are on something like Facebook. All right, and let's move on to the next one, just because we've got a lot to cover today. All right, so this one, people were making fun of them. Pullstar 3 details and a new teaser shared ahead of the global debut on October 12th. So on their website, they said something to the effect of 1 plus 2 equals 3, or after 2 is 3, and that was their way of saying that their next vehicle is going to be called the Pullstar 3. And let's see. The powertrain will be rear biased, feature torque vectoring through a dual clutch system on the rear electric motor. Interesting. Why work with clutches at all? I get rear bias for that sporty feel, but Yeah. Adaptive air chamber suspension. That's pretty cool. They'll adjust the road conditions once every 2 milliseconds. That's not bad, as long as it's programmed correctly. All right. Peak performance pack, which provides 517 horsepower and 671 foot-pounds of torque. There's a YouTuber I watch that's not really into. Well, he's very into cars, but he's not really one known for new cars, and it's aging wheels. And he just got himself a Pullstar 2, and man, their packages are not anywhere near as simplistic as as Tesla's. Uh, y- it's very much like the old school car dealers, kind of like Chevrolet and all the other GMs. Not like Honda tends to have like 4 packages and then a couple options you get in there like leather and navigation. But Chevy, you can like just go through and customize like everything. And so he's got all the steering wheel controls for lane keep assist and smart all this and that, but doesn't have them. And yet he's got other features from the performance pack, like he's got adjustable suspension, and it was quite confusing when he was not that he did a bad job of explaining it, but it was quite confusing the kinds of packages that they offer. And I'm not saying it needs to be as simple as Tesla, like boom, here's the one thing, and here's how far it can go, or like they used to be, like, hey, here's the 5 options you can pick. Um, they've only really simplified it to help with their logistics, not because they don't want options. Because when I bought mine, there were still about 6 options left at the time, but they were quickly going away. And let's see. So they shared a new teaser image. This is the Polestar 3 from the rear. Interesting. So their Polestar 2 is a hatchback. The Polestar 1 was a plug-in hybrid or regular hybrid. I can't recall. I think it was a plug-in hybrid. So the Polestar 2 was the first electric one they made. And so we'll find out this week, actually, on the 12th. They're going to have a live stream event, which you can watch on YouTube. Let me open this, and I'll try and remember to watch it later. Let me see what time it is. Whoa, I didn't ask for music. Oh, I see. They're using the new feature where you can kind of put a trailer in on your video. So live in 2 days at 1 p.m. local time. So right about the time that about 10 minutes before this show starts, um, in your local time zone. So that's pretty cool. And that's over at Pullstar Cars YouTube channel. I'll go and subscribe to that. And let's see. Let's go on to this is the same one. Let's go on to something a little more true crimesy. Let's see. Oh, it's not. Beginning early 23 and 75 to 110,000 euros. Interesting. I wonder when they'll be here. All right, so Tesla Cam captures and helps identify a road rage subject that's shot at a Tesla. Tesla owner in Houston. This road rage, man, it's not worth it these days. They are getting out of control, and it's quite frightening. Let's see. Incident occurred on the 25th of September at 8:30. The rear camera shows a truck accelerating, swerving, tailgating him, coming within inches of hitting the Tesla's bumper. Truck driver pulled alongside the Tesla and through the open window pointed his gun. Oh, great. Obviously wanting to get out of the situation, he attempted to exit the highway, but the truck driver was able to get in front and block him. Gets out and points his gun at Tesla and fires multiple times. Oh, good gracious. It's not that serious, people. This might not have been the case if it weren't for a tinted rear window, which he credits for saving his life. The window tint basically stopped one of the bullets. I don't want to say that. Maybe captured? Dumb luck? A miracle? Struck the passenger rear window. It got the bullet from my head as was the window tint. Okay. Unless he's one of the people using bulletproof tint, or bullet resistant tint, I should say. There's nothing bulletproof. They use the footage to capture the subject. All right, so let's see. They've got an embed here. Let's see who it's from and if we can share it. Oh, it's news. There we go.
Chris Harkleroad's Tesla, and what it captured on Sunday night as he drove home from the airport along West Park Toll Road is shocking. Watch what happened when Harkleroad tried to get off Eldridge Parkway. A man gets out of his truck, points a gun at Harkleroad.
You got a gun on me, I'm gonna hit you. I'm sorry. I respect life and all that, but there was room to just kind of just take him and the door out and just keep on going. It's the wrong answer, I know, but that's what I would have done. Just out of just panic. It's like, oh, whoops. Let's see what he did.
Road and fires repeatedly. Miraculously, he wasn't hurt.
Okay, so he had more room than it looked like in the video. He was able to go around him entirely. That would have been my first move, actually. If I saw there was room, I'm gone. P100D, just out of there.
A window tint, basically one of the bullets struck the passenger rear window, and the only thing that kept that bullet from penetrating my car and basically hitting my body or my head.
All right, so yeah, so be careful out there. There's a lot of just not people that aren't right in the head. Their lizard brain takes over when you pass them or whatever, and they just lose their stuff. So don't go egging on people either. It's, I guess, another part of the moral of the story. Let's move on to. Let's go to Uber and Stellantis. Whoops, what have I done? I pasted instead of copying. Copy. What's up, Anders? Good evening. Good to see you. And let's go in here, share this. And am I even on the right microphone? Is the next question. Yes, I am. Good. So Uber and Stellantis have formed a partnership for expanding EV rentals in France. The free to move deal means that Uber drivers in France will have EV options from Citroën, DS, Fiat, Peugeot, and the newly announced all-electric Jeep. Oh, they're going into Europe. All right. Cool. I mean, I know that they have Jeeps in Europe, but they don't often hit day and date with us here in the States. Well, I guess that could have changed now that Stellantis owns them. All right, so it's an essential step forward to make their 50% of the fleet in France electric, and the company continues to drive towards doubling the brand's revenues by 2026. Yes. Like I said, electrify all the things, so good news. All right, we'll close this one, and then open the next couple stories. Here, here, and here, and also this one. So I still don't have my switch tab button, unfortunately, because that made things so much nicer. All right, we'll copy this. Oh, you know what? None of these are tweets. I didn't have to open them to move them and stuff. I'm gonna have to look a little closer at the notes. That's not to say there are no tweets today. It's just that none of these ones I pulled up were tweets. So the Tesla meeting with County in Texas over lithium refinery is inciting. We talked about how Tesla was going to was pushing for some permissions to actually do some lithium mining in Texas, and it looks like that's gone forward a little bit further. They've been publicly mulling going over lithium into the lithium business. Inside EVs reported that the EV maker set up a meeting with town officials in Texas in pursuance of setting up a lithium refining plant. That'd be pretty cool because they plan to do theirs with a dry process, and we'll see how that goes. Everybody else uses a very, very water-intensive process. All right, so let's see. A meeting will be open to town residents who can provide their opinions on a potential lithium plant in their locality. The plant's potential impact on the environment is also on the agenda. All right, let's do it. Let's see how it goes. Anybody in Texas? You gonna go? You gonna? Well, Texas is huge. Anybody local to what town is this? I saw it. Where is it? Galaxy Lithium Mining. Salar de Hombre? Muerto? Dead Man Salt Flat. Okay. Anybody near there? Keep us posted. Okay. Oh, okay. So there's a new button that I can view the tab that's doing the sharing, but that's not what I want. I want to switch to the next tab. All right. So EVGO Autocharge Plus is adding plug-in charge functions for Tesla owners that use CCS adapters. So I keep saying how Tesla is doing everything with standard protocols, even if they're not using a standard connector. Uh, and I kept saying how I thought it would be cool if the Mustang Mach-E and the Porsches and whatever else that has plug-in charge, when they plug into the Tesla network, if they would just automatically figure out what account you're on, just like your car does on Tesla, and and, and to start billing the right account. Uh, well, EVgo flip that, and if a Tesla plugs in, Tesla is clearly using the same plug and charge standard, and they know which car yours is, and then they start charging your account without having to mess around with key fobs and apps and stuff. So that's nice to see, and I like it because it's just so simple. Unplug, plug in, go do your business, come back, car's ready, and like I said, when I found out that GM was making you have OnStar for 3 years to get that functionality on the Bolt, I was pretty annoyed with that, and this is the way to go. This is it. All right, so let's see what Autocharge Plus is. Autocharge Plus allows EV owners to plug in and charge without the need for paying for the charging session with a card or mobile app. Just what I just said there. That's what plug-in charge is. So I guess the Autocharge Plus is their branding for plug-in charge. Let's just rename something that already exists, because yeah, that's what we need. According to the update on the page, EVgo says the new Tesla CCS 1 adapter will soon be eligible for use on the EVgo network, and the Tesla Model X, Y, S, and S Plaid and 3 will be eligible soon for Autocharge Plus. Adding that more details will soon be announced. You just simply need to download the EVgo app and add your EV's VIN. Oh, that's cool. So the car is just sending out its VIN number when it plugs in. That's even easier. I was wondering how they knew which one it was and why it was so hard for these vendors. So now I'm even more annoyed at GM. You're charging me however much for a 3-year OnStar subscription to send my VIN in an encoded format down the wire. Come on now, it's 17 digits, 19 digits, depending on what vehicle we're talking about. Should even cost $20 a month for that. Come on now. Even if you have to do certificate services, you can automate that and then do it for $4 a month or less. You can find a certificate provider that doesn't charge that much, or you can roll it yourself if the charging provider trusts your certificate authority. That's annoying and cool at the same time. All right. So in order to enroll, you need to download the app, enter your VIN. The first time you visit an EVgo station after enrolling, you'll need to verify the session using the mobile app. That's fine. I don't mind. That seems very reasonable. And once on your next visit, simply plug in and start charging. Your account will be billed automatically. That's the way to go. That's the way to go. Let's see. This isn't the first time EVgo has supported Tesla owners. The company was the first public charging network to add Tesla's proprietary connector to its charging stations in San Francisco and LA in 2019. Not exactly true. ChargePoint beat them to the punch, but Tesla didn't like it because ChargePoint deconstructed the CHAdeMO adapter and then stuck it directly in their charger. But EVgo was the first one to get it there without being given a cease and desist. They went through and basically chained the CHAdeMO adapter to the charging station, and it was just available for you, which was smart. My EVgo station locally at the time didn't have that, and I already have the adapter, so I just kept using my own. More than 600 connectors are now available at EVgo. That's cool, and the company is the largest public fast charging network in the U.S. and has 850 EV charging. Okay, yeah, they've got a couple EVgos around here too that I haven't had to use because Northern Virginia is just full of superchargers, and with free supercharging for life, you guess which one I'm going to pick if it's convenient. Any comments? I hope they update the app soon. Right now, there's no CCS option for my Tesla Model Y, so there's no way to enroll yet. Yeah, the article said coming soon. Let's see. That's the same one we just talked about. This one is really cool to me because remember, I keep saying I don't know what Apple. Copy, paste. I keep saying to electrify all the things, right? Well, in Kingston, Ontario, they've got Canada's first marine EV charging station. Marine, like water, not like, you know, uh, armed forces. Marine vehicles. I wonder if that's one. It looked like one of the electric boats we looked at before. So I see what looks like a Chatamo handle and what looks like a CCS. So Voltaire is a small Ontario-based electric boat manufacturer based in Marrickville, Ontario. So yeah, that's them. That's the electric one. The company chose Kingston for two reasons. It's the city's commitment to green energy and the strategic location on the St. Lawrence River and Lake Ontario. Yeah. It's a Confederation Basin Marina and is open to the public and will be free for the first year. I don't think it'll be free after that. Boats use a lot of energy. To give the greatest flexibility, the charger uses a standard automotive connector. That's pretty cool. So what I'd like to see later on that, maybe not this particular one, but maybe at future points, or is to see MCS3 show up there as well, because I think that's going to be the way to go for the larger vessels, just like it will be for the heavy equipment here in the North America and the rest of the world, like semi trucks and mining equipment and stuff like that, tractors, MCS. Well, when they're charging on DC. If this one got any comments. Yeah. 400,000, really? 400,000 for what? The boat? That sounds right. 400,000 for the install? Fast chargers aren't cheap. I want to get into this one. No, I don't. Gavin Newsom says that California, without California, that Tesla would be bankrupt. Depending on where he's approaching that from, that's possible. They are the largest market for Tesla, but they're not the only market for Tesla. All right, let's go to something a little more useful to us than tit for tat and name calling. Electromobility Canada releases their Canadian Electric Vehicle Scorecard for 2021. Just hoping there was an easy link to it that I could kind of copy. Let's just read their summary. The majority of Canadian provinces and territories are still stuck in the building momentum or getting started groupings. That's disappointing. Wow, yeah. I got 2. 29 is their average. But Quebec is a Canadian leader, and British Columbia is a global leader at 73 and 80 on their ratings. Not bad. I just said that. Let's hope the low score for some of Canadians' most populous and well-off provinces kicks them in high gear and will help drive the transition to electric. Yeah. Okay, so then they've embedded the report here. So what I'll do is give you a link to the Drive Tesla Canada article in YouTube, so you can come through and find it yourself. And who's next? I think this is the same one. Yes, it is. All right, so I keep telling you guys about how NIO is all on battery swap, right? So they've opened their first location in Germany, and it looks cool, and I wish them luck. There have been several companies before them that tried battery swap and either went out of business or gave up. Went out of business in the case of Better Place and a few others, and gave up in the case of Tesla. But this one is at on the A8 highway at this place, between Munich and Stuttgart. The NIO Power Swap Station 2.0. So this second-gen station has 14 battery slots and 13 packs to allow for a swap every 277 seconds, including automated parking. Okay. I mean, 277 seconds is faster than a fast charge. but then it still comes with the whole concerns of, whose pack have I got? The fact that it only holds 13 packs. It's like, what? So it allows to swap every 277 seconds. So let's see, 277 times 13 is 3601 seconds. That's 1 hour and 1 second to swap all the batteries. So that would be enough time that by the time the 14th battery rolls around, that it would be the first battery that the first person that just rolled in and swapped out, that theirs would be able to be fully charged if they fast charge while they're doing all the swaps. But if you're number 14 in line, that's an hour in line when you could have fast charged for 15 to 30 minutes and been gone. The good thing is Neo doesn't stop you from charging your car. So I guess you could look at the line, and if it's already pretty full, then you just plug in, and if it's not, then you get in line. I don't know. According to Neo's Twitter, they can swap 312 batteries per day. Yeah. I don't know. Yes, it's faster than fast charging, but it doesn't seem that it got rid of any of the complaints or issues with battery swaps in the past. But for those people who, are iron bladders or iron butt and slightly dehydrated doing their massive road trips, and there's an option for them. They can take a Neo. They plan to open more than 4,000 battery swap stations by the end of 2025, with 1,000 of them being outside of China. I don't know if that's enough of a ratio. They have 1,100 already set up and running in China, with another 2 outside in China, in Norway. All right. One benefit is that it can update the batteries with new modules as technology improves. That is one part I did like about, you can get a newer battery. Tesla would have charged you for it if you kept the new battery that they gave you, and they would not have given you a credit if you left a newer battery and kept the old battery. They'd be like, "Oh, thank you." In fact, they've already done that in China when they replaced the standard range NCM LFP pack with the new 75 kilowatt hour battery. The longer range 100 kilowatt hour NCM 811 type is the other option in all battery swap stations. So that's kind of cool too. A third option, 150 kilowatts, could arrive in the future. So I wonder if you can pick or you just get what's in there. And again, are you paying for a type of battery, or are you paying for upgrades, or do you get your pack back? Does it matter to you? I guess in the case where you've leased the pack, it doesn't matter which one you get back. But in the cases where you own the pack, you don't want one that's been abused. So I don't know that battery swap is becoming any closer to reality for mainstream than it ever has been. What's next? I like it when it jumps. So what I think I'm gonna do next time is when it gets to the bottom, I'm gonna scroll. Same effect, but at least I can see it with my eye where it's gone. So Marlink has added Starlink to their connectivity portfolio and for their maritime and enterprise customers. So they are reselling SpaceX. They are reselling Starlink in their maritime package. I'm not quite sure how that works, but there are a few people who've got partnership style deals with SpaceX, and not too many of them though. So this is going to be integrated alongside their VSAT, LTE, 4G, and 5G terrestrial connectivity solutions for a seamless user experience. So it's probably going to be something like a lot of the RVers have with like they've got the PepWave router that integrates cellular, integrates WAN connection with Starlink, integrates whatever else you bring to the table, and some of them even have like repeaters for like RV park Wi-Fi or whatever. So it sounds like they're doing that and just selling the whole bundle as a service. So it would be that Marlink would be Starlink's customer rather than you, I suppose. That's what makes sense here. Yep. Moving on. Sitting on that one for a couple weeks, and I still don't really understand it any better than I did. Riven is expanding with new R&D center in Serbia. Uh, they. I hope they're not expanding too fast in building new factories, building new R&D centers. I'm hoping they're not getting ahead of their feet here. Deliveries in Canada have not started, as the company is still waiting to receive certification from Transport Canada. But I think last week we talked about them having received it, or later in the show today we'll talk about them receiving it. I'm not sure. It all blends together. So they're looking for 200 employees. That's 14 job openings have already been posted. I mean, that's kind of cool. I'm wondering if they are going for, say, like the incentives from each country and each as they do these expansions. It doesn't make sense to be going as wide as they are with as few deliveries as they have been making. They are making progress, but I hope they're able to keep the business going. I saw Riven last night coming home from meeting up with a friend. It's kind of cool. All right, so LG Energy Solutions has signed a 3-year cobalt agreement from Electra Refinery in Ontario. All the people saying, "Where are you going to get your cobalt?" Well, we got you. Get it from Canada, because they're the people who ask the question are usually trying to stoke Chinese fears, or saying that, oh, you could just stick with gas because you can't find the stuff to build it with, which is just a weird argument. What's up, Timothy? Greetings. Oh, there it is. Yeah, greetings. All right, so Tesla pushes back plans for full third shift at Giga Berlin, but 5,000 cars per week is still possible by the end of 2022. So the reason they worded it this way with the full shift is because Giga Berlin already does have 3 shifts, but it's not the whole plant. It's only some stations that are running 3 shifts. They opened in 2022 of March, and they were able to ramp production quickly enough to add a second shift just 2 months later. The 2 shifts means the Model Ys are rolling off the production line for new Model Ys are rolling off the production line for 16 hours every day the factory is open. They were hoping to do 24 hours with the third shift. That would be really cool. So they're currently at 1,500 to 2,000 Model Ys per week, which can be handled by the current number of employees working either 2 or 3 shift system. However, the current complement of employees can also handle more than double the current production volume, as many as 5,000 Model Ys per week. That's a good reason to open a third shift. Go from up to 2,000 to 5,000. Demand is still off the charts at the current prices, and all they gotta do is lower prices a little bit or add features, and boom, they got it. 5,000 per week is still a stated target by the end of 2022. Well, there we go. So David's got this wrapped up on the production rate. Question is, all of a sudden they're going to go from approaching it to surpassing it, and when that's going to be, and are we going to notice it? Are we be like, yeah, good job, David, you got it 2.2, and then all of a sudden they're working on 5, like with no rest. It'd be either way with this company. Transport Canada rules out high voltage battery as the cause of the Model Y fire in Vancouver. So we talked about this one quite a few months ago. There was this Model Y, and it was burning from the top, and the guy kicked out the window and jumped out rather than using any of the emergency exits to get out. And later on, they got up with him, and he admitted that yes, he knew that there was an emergency exit, and in freak out mode, he just didn't use it. So now there's been a further follow up, and Transport Canada is saying that it was not the high voltage battery, which most of us electric vehicle enthusiasts were saying at the time anyway, because look at where the fire is and look at how the car is doing. Typically, when a Tesla high voltage battery catches on fire, it kind of vents out the bottom, and then it consumes the entire car after that, if it's not mitigated. And then we saw this one kind of coming up from the passenger compartment, from the driver's seat, straight up through the glass. All right, so let's see what they say as their summary. The power was cut off, leaving the driver to kick out the window, which he later said he didn't need to do. Transport Canada took possession of the burnt out Model Y, inviting Tesla and others to participate in a joint inspection to try and determine a cause. That's good. Many were quick to suspect the high voltage battery was the cause, but this appeared to be unlikely as the fire was slow to start, and the fire department was quickly able to get it under control. Which isn't, yeah, because when a high voltage battery catches fire, you got to keep it cool, and you got to keep it cool till the fire burns out, and that could be quick if you catch it in time, but it's usually not. And the lithium batteries that we use today, except for the lithium iron phosphates, they self start. They've got oxidizer and fuel inside of them, so just keeping them below the point of combustion is what you're trying to accomplish there. Back to this. Sorry, I got distracted by a notification. Transport Canada has now confirmed with the following 2 joint inspections by their own inspectors and contractors from Tesla and the ICBC, which is their provincial insurer. Consultants from ICBC and City of North Vancouver Fire Department investigator who attended the first inspection, the high voltage battery has been ruled out as a possible cause, but they have still not determined the exact cause. The investigation has thus far confirmed the fire started in the left half of the dashboard, more specifically in the vicinity of the left body control module. Interesting. So that would mean either the left body control module or a fuse burnt up, or some aftermarket stuff that was plugged into the module. That would be my first guess based on that. This corroborates with what the owner of the Model Y told us in an exclusive interview earlier this year, that he first noticed smoke coming out of the driver's side vent. Yeah, so that's interesting. The investigation is still ongoing, with the focus now shifting to this area of the car, adding that several components of interest from under the instrument panel have been removed for in-depth examination. That's cool. Those parts include the left body control module and the steering column assembly. The car's computer was also removed as it may contain recorded data that may assist in the investigation. That's true. You've got several computers in the car, but you've got the autopilot computer keeps track of a lot of stuff. The body control computer keeps track of a lot of stuff, and then you've got what we call the black box, the ECU for recording crash data. So when they say the computer, hopefully they meant all of the computers. Transport Canada did not have a timeline for when the investigation will be completed. That's fine. Take your time. Do it right. Let's see. This fits a pattern of negative rumors about Tesla being widely promoted first, followed by less widespread reporting when more accurate information has been obtained. Thank you for the accurate reporting. Yeah. And John says interesting. All right. And this one. Scroll up before I forget. Paste and go. I heard the fan behind me from the inverter, and saw this bright outside. So the solar panels are working, which is nice because it's approaching wintertime and they are shaded. Mini Aceman fully electric Countryman replacement is spied under camo. Upcoming Aceman will act as a direct replacement for the current Countryman and will only come as an EV. Yeah, I didn't expect that it would come as a gas vehicle because here in the States, when Mini announced they were going to be doing some electrics, half of their dealer network shut down. So, and you wonder why we have trouble getting electrics through dealerships most of the time when they have that sort of an attitude, like, oh, you're going to make us sell an electric car? No, we'll go out of business instead. So this is a good looking car under the camo, or in camo. It looks like it'd be a good looking car under it. So it looks like they're going to have the same style headlights. That might be a little more angular. I don't know why they outlined the headlights like that. That's weird. This part looks true. That part looked like it may have been exaggerated. Let's see what we know about this thing. Replace the current crossover and plug-in hybrids with an all-new model that will ditch the internal combustion and the nameplate. Okay. First set of photos showing the upcoming electric crossover. We know it as the Aceman. Oh wow, it's on a regular transport truck. It and another one. So I guess they're doing some serious testing to need to load them up like that. All right, let's see if we can get any other pictures of this thing. All right, so judging by these, I don't know if that's like a paint sample or if it's making sure they have uncovered sensors like ultrasonics and maybe a rear radar, like a cross-traffic alert system. And we'll get onto that in a minute. Sensors. Oh boy, sensors. That looks exactly like what's being uncovered here. That appears to be a cross-traffic alert radar. Yep, and they've uncovered their ultrasonic sensors. Yep. Fresh take. I like it. My wife really enjoys the Mini. It looks like a Mini. I'm curious what it looks like about the wrap, but we'll see in a few months. Same size as the Countryman, should have a larger passenger compartment with more usable space inside. It's a trick many EVs on bespoke electric car platforms allow designers to maximize use of space. Yeah. Okay, so this concept of it looks all right too. So what we saw looks pretty faithful to this exterior concept. Expected to be unveiled sometime in 2023 before it goes on sale 1 year later. Oh my goodness. 2024. All right then. And it's something that makes even less sense than um, way that the Georgians have responded to the Rivian plant that's trying to open in their state. They do this. Sorry, that's paste, not a paste and go. Senator Warnock has introduced a bill that will allow Hyundai and other automakers to qualify for the EV tax credit. Other automakers meaning other automakers that don't qualify right now. So while Rivian is an American company and they would qualify, except for if you pick any options on the car or the truck or SUV, and it pushes them above the cap. Hyundai is South Korean, and they don't qualify because their cars are made in South Korea. They have the option to build them here in the States, and we saw several automakers shift resources and allocation around to make sure that their customers could qualify. I don't think that pushing for exemptions, even if they're exemptions for 1 or 2 years, like Warnock is talking about, that they, yes, it's good for the state, and I totally get it, but the whole point is they want to bring this manufacturer home. And yeah, we're friendly with South Korea. It's not China, so I get what he's doing, but if everybody got an exception, then I don't know. It just seemed funny to me that they were letting the farmers fight Rivian, but yet they're willing to go to bat for South Korea. But that's just me. Senator Warnock believes he has a resolution. The new legislation would delay the timetable for automakers like Hyundai to meet the requirements of the IRA bill, subsequently expanding the EV tax credit. I don't know. What do you guys think? Should they stick with the intent of the law and bring the construction back in house to North America, or should they give these automakers time to move production over? I mean, if they're building them out of country and they're not using American batteries, and the only Americans that are being helped by this are at the Hyundai dealers, not. Oh, and then the people who deliver the cars to the dealer and deliver the car to you. But beyond that, it's not really helping any Americans with jobs, which was the whole point of why they gave the bonus for unions and made sure that it was from a American trade agreement country with final assembly in North America. I think you should get bonus points for final assembly in the US, but that's neither here nor there. I guess Canada and Mexico would get mad if you did that. Let's see what Electric thinks on it. Although the Senator Warnock's proposal to extend the credit qualifying automakers like Hyundai, it's politically motivated, it still makes sense. With limited number of EVs that qualify under the current rules, expanding provisions will help buyers looking to go electric while accelerating the nation's goal of achieving a 50% EV market share by the end of the decade. Okay. But the other goal was to beef up American manufacture. But this doesn't do that. Unless eventually, Hyundai says, "Oh, we're going to lose this many sales, so we're going to have to move our plant in time to keep these sales." Furthermore, the bill would still encourage manufacturing while creating jobs in the U.S. It would just give foreign automakers more flexibility while maintaining a fair market. With a slim chance of passing before the elections, I wouldn't get my hopes up. At the same time, I believe it could help lower the cost of EV ownership while building relationships with foreign automakers investing in the U.S. Yes, all of that's true. So it's just a matter of how aggressive you want to be with meeting the goal of helping us get to our electrified future, as well as bringing jobs home. So if you're fine with waiting 2 years or whatever his proposal is, then it's a no-brainer. If you want to encourage Hyundai and the others to come over, like BYD was complaining, "Oh, we don't qualify, we don't qualify." Well, you've got a BYD factory in the States. Build some cars there too, not just buses. And so Dan says he's up for re-election. It's not his reason for this, but it should be noted. Kemp did get Rivian to build their second plant here in Georgia. Yeah, and I do like that Rivian is there. What I didn't like was that the locals were fighting it. And they didn't even know what Rivian is or does or what the product was. Oh, we don't like it. They're gonna destroy our groundwater and they're gonna kill our crops and blah blah blah, with no basis in fact, or even like the gut feeling isn't based on knowing what the product is. It was just because somebody told them it was bad. And they're like, "Oh yeah, it's bad. We don't want it." Smear campaign that one was. But if it's done and done, and it's going to be built. I'm glad to see that because it would be good to have a second Rivian plant. But as I keep saying, hopefully they're not expanding too quickly. All right, next. Copy this one. Speaking of expansion, Tesla's finally going to expand Giga Nevada because it looks like this right now. And it was supposed to look like all the other Gigafactories, but they kind of stopped because it was kind of tough for them to get enough workforce there. And that's why they started building the new Gigafactories in places where people could commute easily to it. So I'm curious if this thing will ever be completely finished, but it's good to see they needed to put another section in. Also, the other Gigafactories are all built in one piece. Well, not one piece, but at one time. They're not segmented out like this. I don't know if that was a lesson learned or if that was just they knew what they wanted to do from the start. And believes Warnock wants more EVs on the market. Definitely work on a phase-in situation, like 1/4 of American cars, if 100% are available or eligible, 25% are made overseas is what's allowed. I can see both ways, but if you're going to allow foreign companies to phase in and you're going to give a bonus for unions, then you need to make sure that the people who are already here doing the right thing, according to plan, that their cars qualify as well. Because otherwise they got punished for doing the right thing because they don't have a union, but they were already here, 100% American. And so their customers are the ones who suffer. I don't really care as much about the companies. Since the discounts are for the consumers. But if the company goes out of business, then they're not making any product. So, not that Hyundai's going to go out of business for missing a $7,000 promotion, but it means to compete that their cars would have to be $7,000 better or they would have to find a way to make their cars an extra $7,000 cheaper so they can be on level playing fields. The moment the EV part of the bill passed, Hyundai ramped up their timeline for their plant in Savannah. Yeah, and that's what I was saying when we saw that a couple weeks ago. Is all right, live from my iPad. the Mac crashed again. All right, it's back. Let's see. All right, let's bring the chat back up. Yeah, so like I was saying, so it prompted them to do the right thing and move up their plans to come to North America, and that was the intent of the bill, of the law. Yes, I know the computer's restarted. I wish I could understand these Mac crash alerts better. Like on Windows, you get a stop code, and on Mac, I get this long string of report, but I don't know how to read for what happened to it. Because if I could see what tripped it up, I could uninstall that app or adjust the parameters or whatever. So it's still turning on. Sure, open preferences. Yeah, I know Edge closed unexpectedly. The whole computer closed unexpectedly. I close this. Just close that. All right, so the notes are back. Am I in the right place in the notes? No, of course not, because that would be too easy. What if I click in here and use the arrow? No, nothing. So what were we on? We were on Georgia. Oh, I can't use search? Okay, that's fine. Found it. All right, we're back in business. Now let's restore the browser session. So we're going to get a bunch of YouTube-y stuff because I had a YouTube tab open when the thing freaked out. Paused, of course. All right, so we'll be seeing me on screen on the computer in a minute. All right, so then Rob is saying, when are these prices going to go down? And that's a very good question, Rob, because we've got a lot of forces at play here. We've got inflation. We've got unprecedented demand. We've got a whole bunch of items that are driving the prices up. And like in the case of Tesla, they're just pushing them up to try and slow down to get the delivery times in check. But I guess I should do it like this. Yeah, get the delivery times in check. But for some of the others, I don't know that they plan to bring their prices down at all, especially now that there's going to be a tax credit situation. All right, so we're coming back online. I'm waiting to figure out which tab has, there it is, the YouTube in it. And it's going to just start blaring stuff. I know I don't. All right, so turn the camera back on. All right. Oh, you don't see that camera. I assume you can hear me. Let me find the right one. It's got my YouTube in it. Okay, so I think you can hear me. Let's find out. Yes, you can. All right, so now I need to unplug and replug my camera because it was on during the crash and they didn't want to. Well, it was still on when it came back because the computer never closed the channel. And I'm mounted upside down. The back port is so tough to reach. So should show up on my list now. Select camera. Yep, there it is. This is Black Spider-Man. All right, and flip it over, and we're back in business. Now let's go back to the Gigafactory. Share. Gigafactory. I don't have that many tabs open. I mean, I do, but I don't have that many tab windows open. I've got like 12. Can I search these? I cannot. Oh, what is this tab? All right, we're gonna open this one just because, but it's not the one I was looking for. But I can't scroll it. Why can't I scroll it? Oh, the mouse is freaking out again. Oh, what is this? I mean, this is an interesting view, but it's not what I wanted. I wanted this one. Okay. Giga Shanghai upgrades translate into shorter Model Y delivery times in Australia. Woohoo. So we talked about the model. Did we talk about the semi-truck testing? Maybe. It's an old tab with good news, but I don't know if we talked about the news here or not. I think we did, though. So I'm just closing these tabs out. Some of these are good, but I think we talked about them all. So why are they still open is the next question. Yeah, I like that it brings the windows back, but I don't like that it just kind of pulls them in any random way. Dan says he hears the baby in the background. Did she get her camera time yet? No, she's eating the baby kangaroo right now. Sure. I don't mean she's eating a Joey. I mean that that there's like the straps that I wear when I wear her on my chest. She's eating that. I share my electric car Facebook from group from Facebook. We have 109 members. 1,009 members. Sure. Type the name in the chat. It's called Electric Solar for Bucksport Marine. Or Maine. Bucksport, Maine. Cool. Let's see. Hello, baby. Take another drink, please. Hello. Get your toy. You want to say hi to everybody? Hello, Moto. You show them your bee? Or are you eating the bee? Yeah, you having fun? Okay, let's get back to the news. Oh, don't throw my drink, baby. Don't throw my drink. But then the show would be off for a lot longer than a minute. Steve said hi, little one. Hello, baby. Okay. Let me get this baby pillow because I'm all bony. I may be fat, but I'm bony too. It was all around the middle. There you go. Thank you. She's gonna iron clothes. Always fun. No, you can't have that, baby. I'll put it here so you can't reach it. Okay. She's obsessed with the Coke Zero cans. I don't know if it's because they're red or what. Rob says that's the boss. Absolutely, that's the boss. That's why we were late this morning because she wanted to wiggle. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. All right, so let's see if I can't figure out how to share this tab again. Worst case is I might just let me refresh it. That should make it show up higher, and then we'll share again. and share tab. And then there's still the other one I was looking at. So this one's called Tesla Expands Gigafactory. No? All right, so we already saw, and we were talking about, well, I do want to show this picture though. What if I open it in a new tab? Let's duplicate the tab. I don't want to reopen tab. I want to duplicate the existing tab, please. There you go. Hey, it worked. There it is. It's showing the new copy of the first tab. Whatever. So this is where they're going to be opening the new section. This is reserved for future manufacturing. This is the Tesla section. These are the Panasonic sections here for battery cell manufacturing. And then when it's done, this will be raw materials in, because Elon said bring in raw materials, and then out the other side comes a finished product. And since Giga Nevada makes cells and packs would come out the back. It's pretty cool. My neighbor thinks he's so cool with his lifted truck and the loud sounds. But hopefully my stunner did the trick and filtered him out. All right, so that's cool. It's good to see that Giga Nevada is finally seeing some attention. Yeah. Giga Nevada. Yeah, it's a battery factory. Yeah, they make the batteries that go in the car. Yeah, the car like you ride in with your car seat. One that drives you around. Yeah. Don't push that button. All right, back to where did my notes go? They're still open. I know that because I found the right spot. Even highlighted it. Scroll it around. Giga Nevada. Okay. Oh, Riven. Here we go. Copy link. Paste and share. Oh, is that yours? Is that yours? Oh, I got a burp cloth. You like to burp. All right, so Riven confirmed production of 7,363 pickups and SUVs in Q3. Significant ramp. That's good. Because last time we spoke, they were making a couple hundred vehicles, which was not going to get the job done. But as we say, manufacturing is harder, and ramping is even more than that. Dan says that Gregory says hello. Good son. Yeah. 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 Yeah, Steven, sure. Go ahead. Send me an invite and I will I'll be in there. Let's see. So the third quarter closed out end of September, like everybody else. And I say everybody else, except the federal government, Microsoft, and a couple others that have shifted their financial period to not match the calendar year. Yeah. You couldn't pick the quieter toy? I don't know if you guys can hear it or not. It's like it's got a like crinkly, so it's sounds like static. Sorry if it does come through. So anyway, good news for Rivian. Keep up the good work. And then I got another copy from another place about their sales. But then let's keep on with the sales and talk about. Oh, you threw it down. Yeah, it went bye-bye. You threw it on the floor. You did. So Stix is a car rental service in Europe, I believe, Germany. They are purchasing 100,000 BYD EVs for their EU fleet by 2028. So Hertz purchased 300,000 EVs from Tesla and Pullstar, and probably others as well. And so did Stix. So these rental companies are looking to the future for not having to turn their fleet at an inopportune time, and also kind of meeting the desires of their customers and reducing their maintenance costs. Because when you look at what rental car companies do, yeah, the customers may abuse the heck out of the cars, but the companies, they generally keep up on their maintenance because they want their investments to be available to them. And worst thing they want to have is a car break down and strand a customer, or make them miss a meeting, that sort of thing. So it's good news all around to bring a rental fleet to be electric. especially when you look at like Hertz was mentioning, how many times somebody actually, once they get where they're going, the car tends to just sit. So it works out. Yeah, you can charge them at the airport, that sort of thing. Yeah, I mean, especially with Hertz, they don't make you refill it like they do for the gas cars. You just have to bring it back above 10%, and then they'll plug it in and deal with it. So they'll also hit you up for the supercharger bills. We were talking in one of my groups. I don't know if it was one of the ones with Dan or somebody else. There was an Uber driver who did the rental, and she apparently didn't know she was going to be charged for supercharging, so she was doing her Ubering to supercharging all the time, and she got her bill for the supercharger. I'm guessing that probably also meant that she stayed over the full time, because if you get an idle fee at the supercharger, it's $1 a minute. Because if it was just the fueling cost, it's still cheaper than gas. So I don't think she'd be complaining about that, unless she spent all the money without accounting for the fact that she'd have to pay for the fuel eventually. But if you had overages at $1 a minute on most of the stations, $1 a minute, that they'll eat up all your profits real quick. So this young lady was bad mouthing EVs because hers cost her more than she expected. All right. Moving on. Aptera is in production on their solar roofs. I had a video, but apparently the video came down, and I don't think I have a link on that. But that's good news, because the Aptera is a solar car, and it would need the roof ready. And since the roof is the solar panel, that just means they're another step closer to production. They've got the facility, and they're already in serial production. So that's good to see. That means that they are, like they said, they're going to be on time, and looks like they're honoring that. Tesla Giga Berlin is now the state of Brandenburg's largest private employer. RBB reported, citing its own research, currently around 7,000 from over 50 countries work at Giga Berlin, which reflects a growth of 3,000 employees since May. And what's funny is these groups, these environmental activists, these environmental, not terrorists, but absolutists. They're very hard line. They don't want the firefighting foam. They don't want a drop of it to hit the soil. So they're trying to take down the largest employer in the city. There's it's a little give and take. If it was going to be totally environmental, you wouldn't have any personal transport. No bikes, no cars. You'd walk everywhere. Ride the train if you wanted to get between places, and that train would be electric, and it would only go to some cities. And then all the cities would be mega cities and blah, blah, blah. And nobody wants to live in a world like that. Not with today's technology. You have to bring this stuff in gradually and make it palatable. If you just say everybody's going to wear hair sweaters tomorrow, it doesn't work that way. Too bad they chopped down that unused paper tree farm. It really gave a lot more to the local community than those tens of thousands of jobs. Yes. Oh, to burn $100 per hour. It costs roughly $700,000 per hour for the Berlin money furnace. What are you talking about? Giga Texas car parks insanely full in the latest video. Okay. So they're waiting on shipping. What's your point? Let's go to the Tesla Ready article and see what they have to say. Did you fart? Who farted? Oh, don't look around. It's just you and me here. I didn't fart. Oh. Oh. All right. So a gross of 3,000 employees since May. So they're growing up. All right. And let's see. The highest number of employees following Tesla is LEAG at 4,300, Rolls-Royce and BASF and the PCK refinery in Schwedt. They ran out the top 5 employers in the area. Despite record growth in employees, Tesla's still growing its workforce with plans to employ up to 12,000 people at Giga Berlin. Tesla aims to produce 500,000 vehicles per year, and so the growth makes sense. Yeah. So right now they're making, what do we say, up to 2,000 vehicles per week with a goal of 5,000 vehicles per week. So 5,000, I'm going to say 52, but I know that they take downtime. So 5,000 vehicles times 52 is 260,000 vehicles. And so let's do this. With no brakes, 500,000. 500,000 divided by 52. No brakes, they would need to make 9,615.384 vehicles per week, which means they really need to be making at least 10,000 vehicles per week to take some time off. So let's do, instead of 52, let's do it by 50. I think they even take more than 2 weeks a year off. So yeah, at 50, they need to make exactly 10,000 vehicles a week. So yeah, so they're on the way, but they're not there yet. But like I was saying with when we hit David's number of 2.2 million, they're going to just kind of keep pushing through it. And so what we're going to see is the 500,000, just like we saw when Fremont hit that. It's not going to be enough for them. They're going to keep on rolling. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, the mouse is acting up again. Okay. Cool. Last time I thought the mouse was acting up, the computer was frozen. I have 8 of the Rivians in my town. We have 60 EVs here in our town and several new 2023. Nice. All right, so let's go to Teslarati and talk about Ford. I know that sounds weird, but while they started as Tesla news places, all these different places like Drive Tesla Canada, they have quickly rounded out to be all around EV places. So the 2023 Ford F-150 Lightning Pro MSRP is set to increase as supply chain woes continue. So remember the Lightning Pro was the work truck basically, and it was going for right about $40,000. Let's see what it goes for now. It's so cool to hear the fans when the solar is kicking up, the lights will come out. Also glad that the fans aren't loud. And so they're going to, whoa, 51,974. That's a $5,000 increase from the previous MSRP. Yeah. Wow. Price of the other trim levels has remained unaffected for now. Ford says it will continue to monitor pricing and assess across the model year. They sold 1,918 F-150 Lightning units in September and have now sold 8,760 units so far in 2022. It's been delivered in all 50 states. Lightning Pro will start at 51,974 and has a 230-mile battery and 5,000-pound towing capacity with the standard pack. Really, I thought that it would be better just being a truck. So next thing we'll do, we're going to find out the tow rating of a F-150 Lariat Lightning. These are not what I asked for. This is, though. It's an ad, though, so it might not take me where I want to go. Oh, it did. Good. So, no, I don't want to build and price it. I want your specs. Ford wants to know your location. Nah, I don't think you need to know where I live. I don't care about you having my opinion. Shush. Good. Finally able to close the location prompt. Yes, baby. Are you practicing your leg extensions? You gonna be a bodybuilder? Bless you. Ooh, you spit on me. So I told you I needed that burp cloth. All right, so we're at 94 on the battery. So I keep on charging. I heard a click back there, so I wasn't sure what was relaying. All right, so now Up to 320 miles. There we go. That's what I was looking for. The maximum tow capacity is 10,000 pounds. I had no idea that the Pro with a small battery was half the towing capacity. So that would mean that this truck matches the towing capacity of my Model X. Targeted maximum payload. So I'm curious if that one has a lower payload or if it's got the same 2,000 payload on the Pro. So let's see if they give us a chart. The Mega Power Frunk. Off-road ready. No, you don't need to know where I am. Choose your Lightning. I want to compare the models. That's what I was looking for. All right, so the Pro and the Lightning XLT. So the XLT, so the base model non-work truck starts at 52. So you only save $1,000 now by going with the work truck instead of more than that, starting at $39,997. So we want payload. Not listed. Towing. Not listed. So that means that there's probably more sections to break out. What is this? This is highlights. Okay. Smart hitch is available. Oh, the scale is available. The first one I saw didn't have the scale. The second one did, and it said we were too heavy sitting in the back of the truck. All right, so exterior features. I think it'd be power and handling. Trailer sway control. Integrated trailer brake option. Power. Dual motors on both of them. Standard range. Oh, well, standard range on that one with extended range available. Is it a exterior feature? No. What does Ford consider towing to be? We tried power and handling, and it wasn't there. Is it a package? No. Right, it's not an interior feature. Accessories. Not safety. Well, either way, so Ford's not giving us a towing comparison. Oh well. Moving on. So this is from Tasmanian, and the Model Y takes the first, and Model 3 is third best-selling car in Switzerland for 2022. Like car, not EV. Best-selling and second-selling and third best-selling cars. So number 1 and number 3. Oh yeah. Look what I found. Do you want it? Do you want this? You do? Okay. All right, so the Tesla Model Y sold 3314, and then the Skoda Octavia sold 3211, and the Model 3 sold 3078. With the Volkswagen Tiguan pulling up the rear at 2730. Kind of cool to see. It's outclassing all kinds of fossils. Let's scroll this before it jumps on me. And I'm going to copy this. We're going to discuss this, but it may be non-news based on what I'm seeing. So there was this Reddit post. Park Seek mode is in validation testing now. Should be released very soon. Very excited for this. And then I'm thinking that perhaps maybe the picture was unrelated because this picture has been on the Tesla Autopilot sales page for months, years. So basically, to your destination. When you arrive at your destination, simply step out at the entrance and your car will enter Park Seek mode. Automatically search for a spot and park itself. A tap on your phone summons it back to you. So So that would be smarter summon, bringing it back to you, because smart summon would not do the trick. It would make a mess of the parking lot and then stop across the wherever you asked it to come get you. So what I'm hoping is that they were just using this as a placeholder picture for what they were talking about. But the comments, they got a little out of control. They're asking a source. This person said that it seems the Tesla posted it with no dates. And then this person pointed out that it's been up there for 6 years. The only source I see is a speculative article saying it's coming soon by the end of the year, which it may be, because Elon said this that smarter auto park would need to be ready by AI Day, as well as what was the other thing? I think it was something with the robot. All right, so from here, AI Day timestamped. Musk single stack November. Engineer FSD stack personal drives on highway already, way better than the production stack. We also intend to include the parking lot stack as part of the FSD stack before the end of the year, assuming here, but that's all I've got. Good mod. All right, so from 1101110, I wonder if they're in relation to R01010. Oh no, I don't want to paste a search for here. I want to copy the link, and we're going to watch it together. All right, so this should be AI Day.
Yeah, I guess so. There used to be a lot of differences between production autopilot and the full self-driving beta, but those differences have been getting smaller and smaller over time. I think just a few months ago, we now use the same vision-only object detection stack in both FSD and in the production autopilot on all vehicles. There's still a few differences, the primary one being the way that we predict lanes right now. So we upgraded the modeling of lanes so that it could handle these more complex geometries like I mentioned in the talk. In production autopilot, we still use a simpler lane model, but we're extending our current FSD beta models to work in all sort of highway scenarios as well.
Yeah, and the version of FSD beta that I drive actually does have the integrated stack. So it uses the FSD stack both in city streets and highway, and it works quite well for me. But we need to validate it in all kinds of weather, like heavy rain, snow, dust, and just make sure it's working as better than the production stack across a wide range of environments. But we're pretty close to that. I mean, I think it's, I don't know, maybe it'll definitely be before the end of the year, and maybe November.
Yeah, in our personal drives, the FSD stack on highway drives already way better than the production stack we have. And we do expect to also include the parking lot stack as a part of the FSD stack before the end of this year. So that will basically bring us to, you sit in the car in the parking lot and drive till the end of the parking lot at a parking spot before the end of this year.
Yeah, and in terms of the fundamental metric to optimize against is how many miles between a necessary intervention. So just massively improving how many miles the car can drive in full autonomy before an intervention is required that is safety critical. So yeah, that's the fundamental metric that we're measuring every week, and we're making radical improvements on that.
That's cool. That's very cool. So when you've got millions of cars running around collecting data, that the whole thing about dust and snow and rain and wind, like you said, they can capture it in weeks and be ready for November. That is phenomenal. That's one of the beauties of them not having like a 300 car fleet driven exclusively by engineers. Like literally your car off of FSD beta, if it sees something that they want to see, and I don't mean FSD beta turned off. I mean your car on the production code. If they're looking for trucks with the tractor on the back and the tractor isn't set right, your car sees that, it will send a picture or a video or whatever they've asked it for of that truck without the proper loaded tractor to the mothership, and so they can get this training knocked out really quickly, especially when all the customers are doing hundreds of miles a month or more. It won't take that long to collect the necessary data. And being able to run it in the parking lot sounds really good, because right now I've had it function in some parking lots. Like if they've got like proper lane markings and a good map. Others, it'll just kind of sit there and ask you for help. Others, it'll sit there until you push the accelerator, and then it'll try what it wants to try. But single stack, for those of you who don't understand what single stack is, it's right now it's got separate modes for highway and city streets and parking lots. And if they can run them all through the same newer program that's able to better perceive the world, that's what they're going for. All right, so let's move on to this one's from Green the Only. I'm curious why I picked this particular one. If it is what I think it is, the articles should have come first, but it didn't. Let's see what he has. Oh, okay. So I asked a question. So Yaman in August of 2021 asked if Tesla was likely to remove the ultrasonics, foreshadowing. Green said, "Well, we tested the new Tesla Auto Park, but Tesla only deploys to the Model S or new Model S for whatever reason right now, which has since changed because now, like his car was running it because he's able to adjust it. My car is running it now just out of the box in the FSD beta. Yell at the bee. So yeah, my car does Vision Auto Park now too, out of the box. So then on the 5th, I asked Green. So before that, I saw that Tesla is removing the ultrasonic sensors. So I asked Green. I said, "Now what are they up to? Is there code suggesting new lenses, an extra camera down low? I'm confused how ultrasonic removal and the blind spot work if there is something preventing the car from reversing to check its space first." So what I'm asking for there is, if you try to smart summon the car and it is parked nose into the spot, or even if it's parked reverse in, but it wants to drive forward, what it'll do before it drives forward each time is it will back up a little bit so it can see what is in the blind spot before driving through it. Obviously, if the ultrasonics say there's something there, then it just won't go forward at all. But I think I've got another link to it that shows what the blind spot is that I'm talking about. And so then Green replied, "The front camera surfaced some time ago, but was reportedly canceled at a later point." And this person says it's very unfortunate, in my opinion. I was hoping my Tesla would have it. And then I said that Cybertruck and the Semi may still have it, especially if their build isn't merged with the public and dev builds or whatever the builds that Green is able to look into are called yet. And that's why they've been poofed out of the code. So what I'm suggesting there is that even though Green can't see it today, doesn't mean that they aren't still doing the front camera, but maybe they've moved it off into Tesla only access rather than him being able to see it. He didn't respond to that part, so I don't know if that's the case or not. He'll tell us if it's not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open a new tab and go into my tweets. I mean, you can see my tweets, but I get political on Twitter, so rather than deal with that, I'm going to just kind of look for the tweet I'm looking for. Because thanks to this little one, I don't tweet as much as I used to. Let's see here. Maybe it's a tweet and a reply. It started out with fresh tweets, and it's definitely not a fresh tweet. Let's go to tweets and replies. And find the picture I'm looking for. Bye. Need to get to the fifth-ish. right, so we're talking about MCS, Tesla Semi, Tesla Megapack. So while I'm looking for that, we'll talk about this real quick. So you guys aren't watching me look for a tweet. He says, 2007 iPhone haters complain touchscreen won't work. They still need buttons for their phones, just like the same haters will complain that the car needs sensors instead of vision. I said I'm only concerned with the blind spot in front of children and animals, and so I clarify that I'm not afraid. I'm just concerned how they solved it. And he says that it's like when they got rid of the radar and everyone said that's not good, they're not as safe, and then they set the record safe with vision only. Yeah, they did. And I said I'm finally comfortable with radar off. I think what it was is my software was just a bit aggressive. Like it was a tailgater basically. I know I've got this picture somewhere. All right, so it's to the 6th. The good thing is it's a picture, so it's easy to just kind of see. See a bunch of other people's pictures. Fourth, third. So you seriously, I know I used it. Is it not important, Twitter? It's important to me. All right, so let's do this. Along with me on a search. Search sucks. That's all you got? There you go. There's the picture I was looking for. Sorry, baby. She's like, you're loud. You scared me. So ignore the back here. There's no blind spot in the back. He just didn't have a way to stitch in the rear camera at the time. The front fenders, down low front fenders. Because if you're standing up by the mirror, then the B pillar camera can see you. But if you're down low where the B pillar camera is not looking, by the fenders in front of the repeater cameras, there's a blind spot. And then down low in front of the car where the 3 cameras here can't see you, there's a blind spot as well. It's not huge, but it's enough that a small animal or a child or child's bicycle could just be left there. And someone pointed out that if you never turn the cameras off, then that's not a problem. This is true, but if people think that Sentry mode uses too much power, for my car, it's a mile an hour. If people think that Sentry mode is too much, then actually doing work would use even more power. But if the car never turns off the cameras that cover stuff approaching this blind spot here, then it would know that something crawled into them before you go for a drive. But if the car is off and something gets in there, that was what my concern was. I'm sure Tesla has done something about it. I'm just curious what, because if this is a wall behind the car, it can't back up so it can get a good view of what's down there. And then somebody else was concerned about this being a blind spot, and I explained that the only place to hide back here, where the car is a danger to you, is to get under the wheels. You don't want to do that either, but it's got good coverage behind it there because it sees down, looking down the license plate and then out. And then for the front, the ultrasonics are the same thing. As long as you're not like right up underneath the car where the ultrasonics don't work, It's got coverage, but with them removed, my question was, how do they cover this space? And I'm sure we'll find out. And I'm curious, but I'm curious. That's what I want to know about, basically, is how it's going to work. Because surely they're not going to say get out and check, and they're not going to say, oh, YOLO, because that would not be good. Bennett Elder says maximum towing capacity of the XLT or the Lariat with extended range battery is all I could find on the Ford site. Yeah, it wasn't a very good site, was it? Like so many other places you can find like the payload, you can find the gear ratios and all of that. Tesla, you can read the manual before you buy the car. Yes, sweetie. Oh, that's why I feel like that. My sugar's dropping. Why do you feel like that? Do you want milk? Do you want milk? Over here. Oh, she's looking at you all. Do you want milk? Yes? Want to go? Want to? Hey, baby. Do you want milk? No, you just want to stand. That's fine. You can stand. All right, so let's get back to the discussion at hand. Hmm? All right, so AAA helps EV owners with range anxiety. They've added a monthly battery report. As more cars on the road are electric, some insurance companies are already working to adapt. Oh, she punched me in the throat. I saw an Amazon truck at the body shop the other day. Front end looks kind of funny. Yeah, but the truck looks even more funny than the van because at least the van's got like round lights. The truck has got the stadium lights. So a lot of folks have described it as looking like a raccoon. As a growing number of people are making the switch, blah blah blah. Yeah, you pulling on my beard? This new partnership between a. Hmm. All right, so AAA announced that in order to alleviate the range anxiety, it's added a monthly battery report as part of its membership services. Okay, well, I'm not a AAA member. Give us a high level. What's in your report? Electric driving range depends on how much range the EV has. Weather, home charging situation. That doesn't tell us about the report. Most EVs have more than 250 miles. Copy link. Go to AAA's Drive Electric Week post. Personalized monthly report. What's personalized about it? What's all right? Higher the purchase price, concerns. All right, so they've got a report. If you're a member, it's probably easy to find, but if you're not a member, then all they do is talk about it. So, moving on. Yeah, this is a koala, and this is a leaf of some sort. Yeah. All right, so the Honda Prologue EV photos reveal design inside and out. The handsome electric SUV with Chevy Blazer EV underpinnings. So you guys remember that Honda made a couple of partnerships with a couple of different companies. Yes, thank you. Give me the cord back, please. Like a couple of different automakers, including General Motors. And so basically, and this isn't Honda and Isuzu and several others in the past would do deals with GM where either GM would take their car and put a new badge on it, or they would take GM's car and put a new badge on it. This is not a case of badge engineering, from what I could tell. It looks like a complete re-engineering. So it's going to use the same Ultium platform and batteries, but it's going to be a Honda design on at least the inside. The outside looks a little bit like the Blazer to me, but it's got new sheet metal. Well, this you're sitting on it. Yeah, that's what you wanted. All right, so let's look at some of these Honda Prologue pictures. Take a look. So I see a little bit of Blazer in it. I see a little bit of Honda in it. Honda Prologue Elite. All-wheel drive, of course. I don't know. I'm seeing a little bit of GM in it. Yeah, but it doesn't feel like a badge engineer to me. Looks like they've got their own interior. You know what? It would be fun to try when they both come out is to get them side by side and see what stayed and what changed. But they claim it's not a badge engineering. We'll see. Those could be GM temperature controls, but I don't see the Super Cruise. So the other thing that was fun to me was when Acura for a while was using OnStar, even though they were completely accurate cars. Neo Rugged. They look both tech forward and ready for anything at the same time. Photos, you see a top trim model finished in North Shore Pearl. The color that Honda says will be exclusive to the Prologue. Features things like panoramic moonroof, 21-inch wheels, and a new spelled out Honda for the badge on the rear. Honda tells us the front fascia is inspired by the cute Honda E. And while we see the inspiration there, the big SUV said fascia is going to attach to nothing like the Honda E. This is true because it's huge, and the Honda E is tiny. It's going to have mirrors, unlike the Honda E. Freestanding 11.3-inch touchscreen, running Honda's infotainment software. Okay, so it's not going to be running the GM thing. Bunch of buttons and knobs. 11-inch cluster, fully digital. They didn't show off backseat space, but claims the Prologue will feature ample space for both passengers and cargo. Chrome specs. Honda's providing some measurements, including 121.8-inch wheelbase. And the Chevy Blazer EV spec, you'll see that the Prologue is identical, indicating that the Blazer EV's platform is the one that Honda is borrowing for its electric SUV. The wheelbase is also 8 inches longer than the new 2023 Honda CR-V. It's also wider than CR-V by 5 inches. Why are you tasting my spit? That's weird. She stuck her hands in my mouth, gathered some spit from my tongue, and then put it in her mouth. That's weird. Would you like milk now? Milk? Yes? Yeah? Okay, here you go. Turn around, turn around. Try this. Yeah. You know I feed you with a bib because you're messy. I'd have to change your clothes just because you had a couple sips of milk. She doesn't like wearing a bib. This one? Yeah? She's grabbing it. There you go. It's good milk, huh? It's good milk? Thought so. Mommy made it fresh for you. Not warm, I know. She's got some teeth coming in, so she's just biting everything. So she's biting the nipple. All right, so there's the Blazer. So I can see a little bit, but they're not identical. Let's see what the final versions look like. Moving on. More tweets. All right, Giga Berlin on October 5th. The Works Council met. Important milestones. 5,000 Model Ys per week by end of the year. Oh, by the end of the year. I wonder if this will be with or without the third shift. Start of electrode production for the batteries. That's good. Test and calibrate the 4680 production devices. That's great. And a Model Y with rear-wheel drive 4680 structural pack to start this year. So they plan to be making 4680s this year, basically, or they're going to have them imported. they're gonna have them imported by then if they don't make them themselves. That is cool. More info here. Oh, okay. We like Drive Tesla Canada. Let's take a look. Berlin 4680s, baby. Go. All right, Giga Berlin Works Council holds first meeting, provides details on the factory's plans for the upcoming months. Tax credits were created as part of the IRA, is making Tesla focus their efforts on ramping battery cell production in the US, while at the same time still ramping Giga Berlin's battery production. The meeting today was confirmed that Tesla is intensifying their efforts around the world to support the accelerated plans for the US. For Giga Berlin, it means as many as 50 employees will be sent to the US to aid in those efforts. Wow. Hey, how would you like to do a TDY? You're going to the US. And we're going to make batteries. This also means that Tesla will temporarily pause some battery production activities at Giga Berlin. One activity that will be moving forward, though, is electrode production, which is expected to begin soon. Crews will also focus on testing and calibrating the 4680 production equipment. Once production begins, the company is aiming to ramp cell production enough to add a second shift in 2023. They are moving so fast. Model Y, new paint colors and variants. So far, the factory has only produced Model Y long range and performance variants, and only in black and white. But it looks like that's going to change soon. So the Mercury Silver Metallic we saw spy shots of and previews, demos of from Tesla, and the Deep Crimson Multicoat that we saw on Elon's Model S a few months ago, were which were sent to the US for validation. So is it still only coming out of the Berlin paint plant, or is everybody going to make them? According to Works Council, the new colors are close to being approved, but there's no timeline yet for when they'll enter production. It seems so weird that the government is so much in charge of what goes on in the plant. Like, oh, you can't make it in red until we say it's okay. Like, that would never fly in the US unless the red was like out of EPA spec or something. That's so weird. But, like, China is similar, except they kind of tend to tell them yes to whatever they ask for. Tend to, not always. Giga Berlin's ramp, after the significant milestone of 2,000 produced in a single week, they're going to go to 5,000. With the aim to reduce the amount of time a vehicle is stopped at each station along the line from 90 seconds to 45 seconds. Wow. So that would do it. The Works Council said these upgrades were successful, but there's still some areas along the line where timing can be improved. Sounds like I wouldn't really want to be doing business in Germany, not as a manufacturer. A lot of oversight. Like, unless it's like their version of OSA, and it's like this Works Council is just in bringing all the groups together. It's just, there's a lot of micromanaging of these companies going on here. Still targeting to produce 5,000 by the end of the week. Local drive unit production has improved since starting in August and has ramped to more than 100 being produced each day. Productivity has increased enough already for a second shift to be added this month to increase the ramp even further. I wonder if the unions are involved in this oversight committee. Why would you care if they build at twice the pace? If they're still making less than what they promised that they would make at each approval. Yes. I am holding it. You can hold it if you want. Yeah, we can both hold it. You want me to help her hold the bottle? No information about the white interior production. Hopefully that's not something that the council is in charge of. Oh, you can't put a white interior in the car until we say so. So weird. I'm sure it might make sense to some of our German viewers, and I would hope that somebody there could explain it to me, because I don't understand it. It seems so onerous. Elon says, excited to announce the start of production of Tesla semi-truck with deliveries to Pepsi on December 1st this year. 500-mile range and super fun to drive. John is asking if there'll be a live stream and where it's happening. The answer is probably not, but I would also like to see that. Will it run autopilot and FSD? Seems that the possibilities are endless. Count me in. I'm sure it will have FSD, special version of it. I gotta go. Here's my ride. A yellow semi. It'll make so many RVers sci-fi dreams become a reality. Maybe, but it depends on how autopilot would react to the vehicle being modified. Unless you plan to manually drive it everywhere. Less than 2 months to release this beautiful beast. Yes, let's look at the interior again. Insane. I hope to hear some news directly from truckers once they're out on the streets. Yeah. Unless they had signed an NDA or they're not on social, then I think we will. Need my Tesla Transit van. Reno! How did the mouse get all the way over there? It went to like a whole nother monitor. All right. What was it's a double tweet. You can't get milk from the side of the bottle, baby. You need it from the top. You don't own. Well, you do have a rattle, but you don't like it. So I don't even know where your rattle is. I'll tell her she doesn't own a rattle. She does. So that has nothing to do with the semi. But there it is. Let's go back and let's see what the replies to John were about the autopilot. Oh, never mind, not John. It's other Omar and John. It says there are 6 replies, but I see nothing. So let's see what Omar's replies were. Are you done with this? Yeah? Okay. I'll put it right here. You want this guy back? There you go. There were no answers to live stream. There were answers to Omar. Paste and go. That's not 42 replies. No, I think it's really cool the driver can see what the rearview mirrors can't. Okay. All right, so then I guess I need to just click this. I had one that I commented on in the private group, and I'll share the article. Well, it's not an article, and I don't condone this thing. She's only taking a break, catching her breath from this food. Oh, you're holding it yourself. Good job. All right, so before I get the article in there, let's read my comment. I said, this seems more like propaganda than news. I put news in quotes. Literally no facts. There's a single car that caught fire, that took tons of water, then a bunch of nuggets of speculation, a quote about of an unnamed person, an unnamed person of title, also speculating, a political rant, and a confirmation that they don't know what they're talking about to close it out. So I'll keep that comment open, and I'll paste in the article, and we'll take a look at this together. So like our friend Georgia keeps telling us to be a good consumer of news, and where stuff is coming from. Let's take a look. So this was shared all over the place from Fox Phoenix, who notably isn't anywhere near Florida. Electric vehicles are exploding from water damage after Hurricane Ian, Florida official warns. Unnamed Florida official. A top state Florida official warned, like, who is this person? They have a name, right? They have a real title, right? Yeah. Have fun, baby. Enjoy your nap. All right. Warned Thursday that firefighters have battled a number of fires, an unknown number, like 3, 20, 50, 2? What? A number one that we know of waterlogged vehicles from Hurricane Ian. EV batteries that have been waterlogged in the wake of the hurricane are at risk of corrosion. Yes, so is everything else that was underwater, which could lead to unexpected fires, according to Jimmy Petronas, the state's top financial officer and fire marshal. That's a weird combination of financial and fire. Anyway, still no numbers, no data, and not to mention the fact that gas cars can catch fire after being waterlogged as well, because their 12-volt batteries are also susceptible to short circuits. And also, not to mention the number of gas cars that leaked oil and gasoline into the environment. If this hurricane had hit near the Berlin factory and one of these gas cars got out, oh man, they'd be doing soil reclamation forever. Anyway, there's a ton. How many is a ton? Because one of them weighs a ton. Of EVs disabled from Ian. As those batteries corrode, fires start, Petronas tweeted on Thursday. That's a new challenge that our firefighters haven't faced before, at least on this kind of scale. It takes special training and understanding of EVs to ensure these fires are put out quickly and safely, he continued in a follow-up tweet. Thanks to the North Collier Fire Department for their hard work. So the training is needed for extrication, as far as how you need to cut on the car to get the people out safely. And the only other real training you get on them, from what I've seen in the fire department training materials offered by the manufacturers, is telling you whether or not to use foam, which most of them say don't bother. And they all tell you to use lots of water to keep the stuff cool, to get it down below the point of self-ignition. So it was like literally 5 minutes of training for that part. The extrications, they go on for anywhere from an initial 15 minutes to an hour 30. They're still quite fun to watch. Fun as in like interesting and enlightening, not fun like, oh, let's cut up in a car, or Petronas published a video of firefighters in Naples, Florida, battering a fire that started from a Tesla EV battery. Bystanders overheard in the video saying that the crew had used hundreds of gallons of water attempting to put the fire out. Yes, this is how it works. It's not like it was in the middle of like Nevada or someplace that had water restrictions.
So you can see as much water as they've done. So both engines are empty, right? 750 gallons for each engine. Right. So they're both empty. So they're already put on
750 gallons for each engine. Well, they're not engines, they're motors. And you don't need as much water to keep the motors cool. You need it to keep the battery cool. So you're quoting a bystander who doesn't know what they're talking about.
1,500 gallons of water on this, and it's still going.
And this will burn for
how
days.
Dangerous these fires.
So 1,500 gallons is nothing for a car fire, especially not an electric car fire. So you're complaining about 1,500 gallons. Okay. All right. So last week, hurricane pummeled the West Coast. Unclear how many. Right there. Unclear how many EVs were impacted or destroyed by the storm, or other cars for that matter. Meanwhile, consumers are increasingly turning to EVs. Right here, this is the political screen I was talking about. Increasingly turning to EVs as the Biden administration continues to push a green transition involving zero-emission cars, as if that's a bad thing. Between April and June, EVs accounted for 5.6% of new car. That's good news. 5.6%. That's up even what we last talked about. Of new car purchases in the U.S., up slightly from the first 3 months of 2022, according to Kelley Blue Book. Shortly after taking office, Biden, blah, blah, blah. Biden administration, this, that, and the other. However, critics have blasted the administration for giving a false impression about EVs, noting that they are expensive and unreliable, which is, yeah, some of them are expensive, but they don't have to be expensive. You don't have to get the F-150 Lariat. You don't have to get the Plaid. You can get cheaper models. And where the hell are you getting this unreliable from? I haven't seen any reports of unreliable EVs. I've seen poor customer service, poor fit and finish, long wait times, but I haven't seen unreliable lobbied at any of these EVs except the Toyota, just because the wheels fell off and you couldn't drive it. And even then, and the Bolt, well, because they were catching fire, but they fixed that. Also, I've got some news for Toyota later in the show. They think the EV push is a con job, says Myron Ebel, director of Competitive Enterprise Institute Center for Energy and Environment, which does what? Who are they paid by? It may be a good deal for some people in some places under some circumstances, but by and large, right now is not a good deal, says who? All right, so let me go back to my comments where I said this seems more like propaganda than news. Literally no facts. There's a single car on fire that took tons of water and a bunch of nuggets of speculation. A quote of an unnamed person, but they put the person's name in there since I last read it. Also speculating a political rant of an unnamed person. So that guy was also speculating a political rant and a confirmation they don't know what they're talking about to close it out. Done. So yeah. You got to be a good consumer of news out there, folks. Let's go back to Twitter. Not that Twitter is a place of news, but it's a good place for me to find news to read. PSA, Tesla has started building the 2023 model year cars at Fremont in Giga, Texas, built on or after the following dates. If your Model X was built after October 3rd, it's the 2023 model year. If your Model 3 was built after October 4th, 2022, it's a 2023 model year. The Model S is still on 2022 model year. The Model Y is still on 2022 model year. If that matters to you. I actually would prefer it be the old model year with whatever new stuff is coming down the line, because then it makes my car look older for insurance and taxes. However, for sales, I want it to look newer, so I get a little extra. All right, so these dates are in line with previous years when Tesla switched over to the next model year. Yep. They used to not do it until the new year, but then they started kind of creeping it forward like the regular automakers do as well. I don't know if it's a matter of just making sure the VINs were on hand or what. If you receive a VIN, you'll know if it's 2023 model year by looking at the 10th digit, which will now be a P instead of an N. So Papa instead of November. Correction, Giga Texas, not Giga Texas yet, as they only produce the Model Y, correct? And those dates are for both Fremont and Giga Texas, question mark. And they repeated themselves. Probably those threes don't have the ultrasonic sensors. I bet you that none of those cars, even the 2022s, have the ultrasonic sensors. Unless they were already getting shipped out before the announcement was made. All right, so a lot of people asking about the ultrasonic sensors. Can you hear me now? Okay, you can. I don't know what happened there. The microphone decided to turn itself off, and then it asked me to set the clock before it would turn on the microphone. So I did. It's connected to USB. It's got batteries in it. The batteries are fresh. I don't know why it turned off. So there's another USB port on it that's labeled DC power that I think I will hook up after the show, just in case I do something wrong with it, because I don't want to mess it up. But it's not the first time it's turned off on me. It's one of the few times it's actually asked me to reset the clock at the same time. So I will hook it up to DC power as well as the USB-C, and then I'll recharge the batteries. But they shouldn't be out by now because I just charged them like a week ago. I'll check all of that out and then we'll see. But that's for later. All right, so Amazon has ordered 20 electric trucks from Volvo because they can't order anything from Tesla because Bezos would not allow it. Amazon's ordering 20 electric trucks from Volvo as part of its electrification efforts for its large delivery and supply chain fleet. So they've ordered 20 EV trucks from plus 100,000 Rivian vans, but they ordered 20 electric trucks from Volvo, I think. Is that Mercedes? 20 Volvo FH electric trucks. Volvo announced today, on that day, the Volvo trucks will deliver fully electric and heavy-duty trucks to Amazon in Germany by year end. The 20 Volvo FH electric are expected to drive more than 1 million road kilometers annually, fueled with electricity instead of diesel. The FH electric is up to 44 tons gross CW, gross something weight. Sorry, GCW, gross carrying weight, I suppose. The capacity of the truck with a range of up to 300 kilometers, 186 miles. Volvo shared some of the truck's specs: 540 kilowatt hours, output power of 490 kilowatts continuous, and the range of up to 300 kilometers. But the Volvo FH electric truck can cover up to 500 kilometers during a normal workday if a top-up charge is added. For example, during the lunch break. That's one thing I like about these EV semi-manufacturers, especially Tesla. They are designing the trucks to be refueled a significant amount during the mandatory lunch break that is required. I guess they don't have to eat lunch, but the mandatory downtime that's required in the middle of the workday for the drivers to rest. And the fact that it's in Germany is probably why they aren't using Tesla, just because it's a lot easier to get a European manufacturer to make it a European truck for now. All right, so then we've got a Teslarati tweet. Oh, wait. Before we get there, there were comments on this one. Volvo and Freightliner and Mercedes are poised to take on semi-electric truck electrification and deployment. Where is Tesla? December 1st. Is it locked already? I don't see a reply. I think it's locked already. Better to call the company Volvo Trucks, as that's completely separate from Volvo, which is a majority owned by Geely. Geely doesn't own any part of Volvo Trucks. Okay, fair enough. Where's the comment that I saw that I liked? Not in there anymore? It looks like it's locked for comments. All right, so anyway, Teslarati is tweeting. Riven has released quarter 2023 financial results in November. They produced and delivered a record amount of R1 vehicles in the third quarter. What do you expect to see in Rivian's third quarter 2022 financial results? So we will find out next month. And we'll find out from Tesla in 10 days. Shanghai excludes the PHEV from getting free EV license plates starting January 1st of 2023. So I've always said that the plug-in hybrid electric vehicles were training wheels. I still believe that when I had my Volts. I was like, hey, this is good. It allows me to deal with the charging realities of the time, because when I got my first Volt, there was no such thing as a supercharger. In fact, there was no such thing as a Model S when I got my first Volt. I mean, there was, but there weren't any on the road. And when I got my second Volt, I probably shouldn't have got it, because I probably shouldn't have got it. But anyway, I was saving for the down payment on a Model S 40, and it was canceled. So I dumped that money into paying some stuff off and grabbing a Volt, another Volt. I shouldn't have done that part. Anyway, PHEV equals no EV. That's not true. That's not true. It's just not a full EV, like all the time. BYD is making an average of $700 per new car, or each new car sale, which includes PHEV and BEV. Interesting. So I forgot what the rest of my point was, why I brought that one up, but I think PHEVs are good training wheels, and I don't know that now is the time to take off the training wheels just yet, but it's coming up soon if it's not already now. Pullstar has delivered 30,000 EVs in 2022 so far, but plans to send another 20,000 deliveries in Q4 alone. So good on them. Everybody is just getting into this, and I like it. A month before it releases the full financial report, Pullstar has shared some of its global volumes to date. Production strains brought on by COVID-19 easing up in China. The automaker believes it can significantly boost customer deliveries in Q4 and still reach its target volume of 50,000 units. I hope they do. A weird looking car. I like it, but it's a weird looking car. All right, so Q3 they delivered 9,215 vehicles, bringing the total to 30,400. Based on Q3 deliveries, Pullstar will need to more than double its output by the end of the year to achieve its 2022 goal of 50,000 units. Yeah, they will, because they've got to get almost 20,000 cars, so 19,600 cars delivered in the next 3 months to to meet their target. That's quite a ramp. That's quite a ramp. I hope they can do it, and with quality, because man, if they cut any corners, it's not going to be good for the customers. It's not going to be good for them. I'm starting to see Pullstars on the road. Not as many as Tesla, but they're definitely getting out there. Yeah, they're all over for me. Pullstars are all over the place, but I live in Sweden. I don't understand why these cars are covered with full fabric wrap that needs to be disposed of. They need to stop additional rubbish. They're probably recycled. They're used to oversee shipping, and they get recycled. Yeah, wrapped in plastic is much better, of course. You know what? You have a good point, EV Patty. Because at least with fabric, it's not plastic. We'd hope they're recycled and made in recycled material. I'm not sure though. Yeah, they probably are. It's probably not too difficult to find out if you get some good reporting skills on it. All right, let's move back to another electric truck maker, Foxconn, right? What? Electric truck maker? Foxconn? Yeah, because they build the who are they? The ones that catch fire. The ones that used to catch fire, I should say. Workhorse. Is that them? Yeah. So Foxconn shows a Foxtron Model B as its Tesla Model Y rival. This tall hatchback will be assembled in China starting next year in Ohio from 2024. Let's look at it. MIH, short for Mobility in Harmony. The plant is designed for a production capacity of 500,000 vehicles per year, and just like it's done in the electronics manufacturing segment, Foxconn plans to offer manufacturing services to third parties that don't have their own facilities, like Workhorse, because they sold it to them. Foxconn Model B won't be built in the United States, though, as it will roll off production line in China 1 year ahead of the US in 2023. Oh, they're building it like with their own branding. That's kind of cool. Reminds me of back in the early 2000s when everybody had their phones made by HTC, but they they had their own brand on it. What's that called again? The Model B? That B doesn't look like a B. It's not bad looking. It looks more like a B there than when it was small. It's kind of uninspiring from the side. It looks like the Volkswagen to me, the ID4. DC fast charging, all right. This cover looks like a sideways version of the MCS charger. Oh, that's kind of cool. Now, I wonder if that's a pedestrian alert or if that's the turn signal. Because it looks a little bit like a person in motion with the arrow. All right, that's what we got. Looks cool. Well, wish them luck. Let's see what happens. I'd like to take it for a spin, though. All right. Realty's three-wheeled electric delivery vans are headed to the continent that needs them the most. The Juma is going to deploy its three-wheeled electric vehicles for parcel delivery. Little cute little tuk-tuks, electric tuk-tuks with a cargo box on the back. Why not? The electric trikes will be helping reduce the emissions of its delivery fleet. Where? Kenya. Oh, Africa. Yeah, Africa does need EVs. Kenya is uniquely positioned to help kickstart this type of electric vehicle adoption. In 2020, 90% of the electricity used in the country was generated from renewable resources such as hydro power, thermal, geothermal, and solar PV and wind. A year earlier, Kenya also reduced the import duty for fully electric vehicles, followed by releasing a comprehensive strategy to increase the adoption of EVs. That's good. And then here's a bigger one. And then here's one making a delivery. Interesting. It looks like it's here. But maybe not. Maybe they have Cuban and ATP grill over there. All right. I haven't actually been to Kenya myself, so I would know. In Africa, electrification has often leapfrogged traditional four-wheeled cars and trucks. Yeah, just like they went from no phone to cell phone. Increased instead targeting some of the most beneficial vehicles, 2- and 3-wheelers. Yeah. Developing world still needs fossil fuels even after the developed world moves to EVs. How's that funny? Anyway, moving on. Copy this link. Here we go. Toyota plug-in car sales are cut in half for Q3 2023. Where is the BZ4X? Not a single BZ4X was delivered during the quarter because they were on recall. There were the lug nuts were keep letting the wheels fall off. So well, not the lug nuts, but the wheels were falling off. They've since solved the problem, as well as what myself and the folks on What Drives Us were speculating that they were hiding something else because they recalled them for the wheels falling off, and then while they were there getting that fixed, they fixed another unspecified problem. And we figured that was probably what it was, and it made them look less incompetent if they said what the other unspecified problem was. Instead, they look incompetent. But now it's fixed. Over 3 months later. Toyota and Lexus reported sales of 526,017 vehicles in the U.S. during the third quarter, 7% less than a year ago. The year-to-date result of 1,571,714 is 15% under last year. The numbers indicate the Japanese manufacturer is struggling this year and also includes its overall electrified lineup. Toyota is down 23%, Lexus is down 17%, and overall they're down 7%. Of that, the electrified hybrid electric vehicles, plug-in hybrid electric vehicles, battery electric vehicles, and fuel cell electric vehicles stand for a fifth of the total volume. Toyota xEVs are down 28%, 96,674. The Lexus xEVs are down 5% to 15,270. A total of 111,944, down 25% and 21% for the total volume. Unfortunately, plug-in sales are not only down, but the rate of decline is much higher. It's disappointing. And this might be why their CEO is talking such trash. If it's not a significant part of his business, he can poop on it all he wants and not hurt profits. Toyota plugins, 6,085, down 56% to a 1.3% of their share. Lexus plugins are 1,066. So it's new. So it's new starting at 1.6% share because Lexus didn't have any plugins before. They just had hybrids. Total plugins, 7,151, down 48% and 1.4% of the total volume. Fuel cell EVs are down 88% to just 79 because their fuel cell system, their fuel cell story is really crappy. You're stuck to a region in California or Japan, and that's it. Maybe 2 stations in Canada. You can't go anywhere in it unless you're going to stay around town. And then when you look at it, most of the hydrogen is gray hydrogen, so it comes from fossil fuels. Hydrogen can be done, but we're not doing it right yet. So far, they've delivered 24,600 plugins, and overall, cumulatively, excluding hydrogen, they've delivered 214,600 plug-in cars. Like, not this year, just ever. The group has already triggered the phase out of the federal tax credit in Q2, but it doesn't matter now because we get a new tax credit coming up at the beginning of the new year. So let's look at the models. The BZ4X, zero cars delivered in 3 months. Again, because they couldn't keep the wheels on them. 100-year-old company making cars, couldn't keep the wheels on the car. Kind of critical. It's not much of a car if it doesn't go and stop. Toyota selling Q3 was the RAV4 plug-in prime hybrid. It had a significant decrease of 61% over 10,000 units a year ago. So the Prius Prime is a plug-in hybrid at 2,100 units. That's down 40%. The RAV4 Prime is also plug-in, 3,900 units, down 61%. The Lexus 450H plug-in, they sold 1,066 of them. Sounds good. I mean, compared to the rest of the article, we know it's not, but it sounds good, like it's new. Here, we sold 1,000 of them. Look at that. The Hydrogen Mirai sold 79 units, down 88%. And cumulatively, since the Mirai came out, they've sold 10,711 units. Kind of pathetic. But again, like I said, the story isn't very good on the Mirai, so I'm not surprised it's not selling well. Especially if they're not giving any more of the incentives like they used to give on it. Comments on this article? There we go. Toyota's running out of excuses here. They claim that PHEVs are their best solution, yet they continue to massively underproduce what could be sold. Meanwhile, others have maintained or increased plug-in sales. I agree that this is extremely disappointing. Yep. Compliance numbers only for Corolla are the biggest legacy ICE promoter as usual, despite our resident Corolla employee here that posts constantly and lamely tries to spin it otherwise. Let's make the assumption that Toyota can produce enough to meet demand in all markets. That's another good point. They've always been the king of lean, which in normal times is a big advantage, but can be quite a bit less so during periods of extended disruption. Yeah, but when you look at the way they handle lean, they were one of the few not affected as hard by the chip shortage because they had enough chips on hand. Stuff they know that's burned them in the past, keeping it on hand, or stuff they know up front is they can't get a hold of. They order more of those for their system. Stuff they can get tomorrow, like paint or steel, they'll let it get a little thinner. Previously, if you were to accept Toyota's premise that customers are not ready for BEVs, their low delivery of PHEVs is also complete shame and embarrassment. The Volt came out more than a decade ago in 2011, yep. The BMW i3 with Rex came out in 2012. But the world's biggest car manufacturer is struggling to build PHEVs in 2022. Pathetic. And they priced the RAV4 pretty darn high. Yep. Really bad headline in research. The reason no BZs have been sold is Toyota put a stop sale on them. No, that's not unknown to these people. The 200 that were sold have been brought back. Yeah, we know that too. Toyota did announce earlier this week that that's what I'm getting to later. They figured out a problem with the wheels and potentially falling off, and is working to repair all these cars. And no, it wasn't because the car is so ugly the wheels were actually running away. I wonder who said that. And yes, it's a very homely car. Note, I'm not a Toyota fan. Having to get my wife's Solara fixed. The Solara is the Subaru Solara, the Subaru version of this vehicle, because of a suspension design that couldn't handle high traction tires. You built and tested a suspension, and it couldn't handle the tires. It's even worse than them falling off after testing. All right, so I got the same article twice in a row, so we'll skip that second copy. U.S. Department of Defense is embracing electric military vehicles using GM's Ultium platform. Dan and I have talked in the past about a lot of the stuff that the military is doing because they realize that EVs give them a certain amount of independence and stealth. And so the military has had these rollout solar panels that they could just kind of roll out behind a vehicle and then charge a battery, and they can use that battery to charge EVs or run the base. Being able to generate your electricity locally and charge on site rather than having to have these massive supply lines of fuel. I mean, you can use your supply line to do other stuff besides fuel if you can charge. You know, get them there, charge them up, send them back, that sort of thing. Silent, and they're not terrorizing the environment while they're there on humanitarian or war missions. Tactical vehicles are about to get an electric upgrade. GM Defense, a business unit of General Motors, is focusing on advanced defense mobility needs. Selected by Defense Innovation Unit, the DIU. That could have gone wrong if they moved that acronym around. To develop a battery pack that can be used for functional electric military vehicles. The need to reduce our reliance on fossil fuels and transition to clean energy alternatives is becoming more evident as unpredictable weather events, including extreme heat, droughts, and floods and hurricanes, etc., continue to intensify across the globe. Yeah. When these events happen, it directly affects the Department of Defense, which includes the Army, Marines, Air Force, Navy, Space Force. The government agency is tasked with providing national security, including the results of climate change. Yeah. Climate change has been called by the former U.S. Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel a threat multiplier, as it can exacerbate other issues such as infectious diseases that can impact operations. So we're at 99% battery. Is about to fill up. Hurricane Michael, Category 5 hurricane, destroyed at least half the buildings at Tyndall Air Force Base. Oof. Naval Station Norfolk in Norfolk, Virginia. The largest naval base is threatened by rising ocean levels. Yep, their streets flood very easily. Since the 1920s, water in the bay has increased by around 1.5 feet. That's a lot of water. And during high tide, the water almost breaches the containment walls. The Missouri River flood in 2019 swelled up about 1/3 of U.S. Strategic Command's base at Offutt Air Force Base in Nebraska, costing over $500 million. Dan says, as well as not enough resources like water. Yeah, that's true. Water's heavy, fuel is heavy, so if you can generate the electricity on site and then use that same truck that would have been hauling gas, but to haul water. I mean, obviously, don't put water in the gas truck. You get where I'm coming. That's cool. That's a cool looking concept. It doesn't look very friendly against IUDs, but that's probably not what that one is for. Servicemen and women are not hydrated, can't perform. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, everything runs on water. GM says it will use the advanced Ultium platform in electric vehicle architecture to meet the standards. I mean, if they got the contract, they'll have to perform. Otherwise, they won't get any more contracts. So that's kind of cool. All right. So for everybody like me who's got a Cybertruck on order, got some good news for you. Indra has finished building the 9,000-ton Giga press. Tesla is expecting it any day now. The 9,000-ton Indra Giga press for Cybertruck apparently arrived in Houston, Texas 8 days ago. Should be seeing it arrive in Giga, Texas shortly. There was an Elon tweet at some point. Basically, Elon says they're excited and ready for it as well. I'll try and find it. So Giga press is going to make the frame for Cybertruck. That's good. The frame and unibody. It probably has music in it, doesn't it? Sounds. Yep. All right. So you guys remember this? This is the demo they gave us a few weeks ago of like at an open house before they boxed it up and sent it over to Texas. So it's going to pump out whole Cybertruck bodies in a matter of seconds. Amazing. It's going to put out 9,000 tons of force to clamp down the body and have it ready to go. And then a robot will pull it out and put it on the line. It'll be still warm, but it'll be cool enough to work on right there. I didn't say pause it. I can't use my arrows. Use my arrows. Well, that's cool. Moving on. So Tesla is no longer rated a junk stock. Their credit has been upgraded to investment grade by S&P. So what this means now is that some places that were unable to buy into Tesla stock before are now able to do so. Other places that were barred from buying into Tesla stock are now compelled to buy into Tesla stock because of the fact that they are on the S&P 500, which means they must be included now that they are not junk. Took them long enough to realize this. There were a couple quotes in here that I liked. So the rating company wrote about Tesla in its explanation for the upgrade. We now view Tesla's credit profile more favorably because it continues to demonstrate market leadership in electric vehicles. Continues to. They've done it since they hit the market. The solid manufacturing that supports a strong earnings before EBITDA. I got to break it down. I forget what it stands for now. Basically, I think it's earnings before drawing a blank. Anyway, sustained positive free operating cash flow above our previously established upside triggers. The global ratings admitted that Tesla surpasses expectation on many metrics. They believe Tesla will continue to maintain low debt while delivering strong profits. The stable outlook reflects our expectation that Tesla will maintain low debt levels as it sustains its solid market share, profitability, and strong liquidity among a weakening economy, and increasingly competitive environment for EVs. While this upgrade may not be important for the average Tesla investors and shareholders, it is a big deal for some large funds that often have a policy not to invest in companies that have anything less than investment grade rating, often referred to as blue chips. This has been preventing some large funds from investing in Tesla. This is true. There was a quote about how they could lose that rating and how they could gain it back, or how they could gain higher ratings than they have now. But basically, that's on the table for them to go both directions. Not at the same time, but they could go back down to junk, or they could come up even higher than investment grade. Complete list of coming soon Tesla supercharger addresses in the United States. So Tesla posted the entire list of Q4 superchargers. I'll paste this in the chat. They've since removed it. I initially had a link to the listing, but it also had all the existing ones too, and that was just too long for me to deal with. Rob Brown says, how many frames a day? That's a very good question. I suspect it'll be similar to what we're seeing with the Model Y out of Giga Texas. So they're at what, 2,000 to 5,000 units a week right now. So in fact, it's going to be in Giga Texas as well. So unless this unit is faster than the Model Y press, I think it will be similar. The other thing to note with this is the Model Y is built into 3 pieces. The Cybertruck might only be built in 1 piece. Not like the whole truck comes out at once, but the whole truck frame will come out at once. So every couple seconds, like 90 seconds or so, a new frame comes out at peak operating. We saw a video of it here on the show a couple months ago where they did the Model Y Gigacast, and it wasn't very long. Made a lot of noise. It was kind of cool. All right, so the updated supercharger map. Got Alabama, Arizona, Arkansas, Alaska. Arkansas and Alaska each get 1. California's got a whole scroll of them. Still California. Good gracious. So you guys complain about California. You're good to go. Still going. Wow. So I was trying to make a stop at every supercharger in the 48 contiguous states, but I might have to give up. Wow. All right, so we finished California. Connecticut's getting a few. Newark, Delaware is getting another one. All right. Washington, D.C. coming soon. Washington, D.C. has been rolled into Connecticut. Wisconsin Avenue. That's probably going to be in a parking garage. M Street. Washington, D.C. is getting 2. Adventure. Florida's getting a few. Gainesville getting another one. All right. Jacksonville, Kissimmee. So these are just the ones that are not open yet. Up to Indiana, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maine, Maryland. Maryland's getting a lot more. Maryland's already full of them, just like Virginia. Michigan, Mississippi, Montana, Nevada, New Hampshire, Jersey, New Mexico, New York. Oh my goodness, New York's getting a bunch of them. North Carolina's finally getting some more because they didn't have enough. Charlotte needed another one, so they're getting up to 3 or 4 now. And Gastonia, Lexington, Mount Airy, Salisbury. Some of these I'm wondering if they're just like another part of town because the city names sound quite familiar, or if they are moving some of these existing ones. That's happened quite a few times in North Carolina. Ohio, Pennsylvania, South Carolina's getting a few. Manning, so that's off of 95 most likely. Richburg, off I-77. Ridgeland, I don't remember where Ridgeland is. I've passed it a few times. Spartanburg's getting one. They needed one there because the Florence Mall to Spartanburg is quite a haul. Greenville has one, but it's in that construction mess. Spartanburg kind of needed one. It's even though Spartanburg and Greenville are kind of combined when you say them, Greenville, Spartanburg, they are different places, and it's a large metro. South Dakota's getting one. Sisseton. Wonder where that is on a map. I don't want directions. I just want to see it. All right, Georgetown, Texas. Texas got a few, of course. Utah. Virginia's getting even more. Fredericksburg's getting another one. Lexington, Portsmouth, Raffine. Reston's getting another one. Hopefully it's not in a parking garage, but it probably is, just like the other one. Roanoke's getting one. And Woodbridge is getting another one. Woodbridge already has 2. Right across the street from each other. That's another one I want to look up. Let me just look on the map, full-size map of that first one I pulled up for South Dakota. What town is this in? Where's it on the way to? Wow, it's the very top of South Dakota, like right on the border of North and South Dakota. All right. And let's see where this one in Woodbridge is going to be. Yeah, I know where Jefferson Davis is, but it's a long road. Let's paste that in there. Broken again. Got it? You don't got it. Let me unplug and replug the keyboard. It says connected, so I guess it wasn't working. All right. Oh, come on. There we go. I can at least use the mouse. Go. All right, so 15809 Jefferson Davis Highway in Woodford. A 1 hour, 7-minute drive from me. Really? So it's on the other side of the county. Wow. Okay. This is actually good. It's on I-95. And no, it's not on 95. It's on Route 1. Not too far from 95. And what's around here? The Sam's Pizza's not too far. All right, now I want to get the do they have the view where I can, like, what's Microsoft called their street side? Street side. Here. They don't have a street side available. All right, so let's do this. Let's take the same address and go to Google with it. And then if I'm at the site, I'll bring it up on the main screen. So Papa Dent's Crabs and a Wawa. All right. It's probably going to be at the Wawa. That's my guess. That's just a list before I go over. So Washington is getting a bunch. West Virginia is getting one. Wisconsin's getting a few. Getting 3. Look at that. I find it amazing that Colorado is not on the list. There's a clear need for supercharger in Durango. So you can drive an older Tesla Model X 90D from Golden, Colorado to the Grand Canyon without having to go south on I-25 and do the long way. Good point. But that's just coming soon. It doesn't mean it's not coming. It's just not coming soon. The Montos to Farmington leg, the direct route is too challenging with the risk of not getting there. And Model X is great, but the 90D was not 90 kilowatt hours. This is true. So my 100D is now 91 kilowatt hours. But the 90s were never actually 90. They were rounded up to 90. Well, the 100s were actually a little over 100, like 101, 102. I'm told a bit less, and age does have its effects. I cannot run a marathon anymore either. Good point. I'll give you a thumbs up for that. All right, so now let's look at this Woodbridge. Oh, sorry, this Woodbridge supercharger. Where is my street guy? Okay, I can't get into the complex. So it's going to be back here, according to the address. But since that's a Wawa, I suspect it may actually just be on the complex because there's a Wawa there. And they like to host them some Tesla superchargers. Road. That road's a lot longer than I thought it was. I see it all the time. So the map said somewhere in here. Can we go around the side and see? All right, so I don't think we can go down this road, can we? No, we can't. So it looks like that's going to be the entrance according to the map. Fun stuff. Dan said multiple factories already in production. Number 1 EV maker in the world, at least 1 stock split, 2 stock splits. And more than 1 million vehicles on the road is still a junk stock. Yeah, until last week it was. Which is bull crap, because when you look at some of the people who had better ratings than them, they weren't, like, even with their gas stuff, they weren't competing with what Tesla's doing, let alone if you compare their electric stuff. Spartanburg definitely needs one. Only hotel I stayed at has a charger. Yeah, yep. Was it Spring Hill Inn or like Hilton Suites? It was like a middle class hotel. Nothing wrong with middle class, but it was at a hotel, so it was kind of like if it was a busy night, you might find your stuff iced. All right, let's continue on with. Oh, okay, it was another link to Drive Tesla because it had the full list, but it looked like they updated both articles. All right, so I don't often do the release notes anymore because I can't make a video on them because my car is so far out of date on everything but FSD beta for now. I used to do them all the time because I would get my car is in the first batch usually when it's on normal software. So I was always like, hey, look at this new thing. And now I get them like 3, 4, 5 months after everybody else gets them. So it's like, look, I can change the colors on my car. It's like, yeah, we've been able to do that forever. And then the fact that my car is legacy now even still puts me at the back of the line for a lot of stuff too. But anyway, this one was kind of cool to me. 2022.36.1 and 36.2 release notes. Cabin overheat protection. You can now choose your temperature for cabin overheat protection. By default at the factory right now, it's at 104 Fahrenheit. The reason it's set where it is it's survivable for a little bit for children and pets. It's not comfortable by any means, but it's survivable. Karaoke, you can get it in Canada now on the new Model S and Model X. You can sing along with your favorite songs. The Tesla app, you can view additional media player information, and the ETA to the destination when a route is active from the Tesla mobile app with version 4.13.0. My wife says stop being able to send information to the car again, so I don't know if it's because she doesn't use it enough or what. The Energy app. Learn more about your vehicle's energy consumption with the updated Energy app. You can now monitor the amount of energy used while driving and parked, rather than just driving. See how much energy is consumed by different vehicle components, driving behaviors, and environmental conditions. View the energy used in comparison to the trip projection, which that part was already there, and the battery indicator. But it's been updated. Receive personalized suggestions for using energy more efficiently. All right. Here's what they'll say: just drive slower. You don't need to do 90 miles an hour. I don't do 90 miles an hour, but mine probably will also still say drive slower anyway. Stay below 70 to reach your destination. You get additional supercharger details in Canada. Redesigned supercharger map pop-up will now display a historical site occupancy in addition to the associated charging fees when available. That's going to be helpful. To view these details, tap on any supercharger pin that's in the vicinity of your vehicle. I hope it's not just Canada, but like it's also in Canada. Car left open notifications worldwide. We've had that for a while, and I like it. Like it's hey, a window is down in your car. Oh shoot, let me go fix it. And then a new language support. Talked about their credit rating. I wonder if this is the one that says how they could get their rating improved. They're up to triple B from BB plus. All right, so they may lower their rating back to junk if Tesla adopts a more aggressive financial policy with respect to shareholder distributions, growth of its captive finance operations, or other business segments, and acquisitions such as financial cushion reduces materially. Oh, if the financial cushion reduces substantially, or if it cannot maintain solid FOCF due to slowing growth or higher than expected spending. Interestingly enough, that exact same verbiage is why they might get their rating raised. Yeah, Hampton Inn and Suites at Spartanburg. Yep. Let's see. Then they may get a raise of credit rating if they adopt a more aggressive financial policy with respect to shareholder distributions, growth of its captive finance operations, or other business segments acquisitions that that financial cushion reduces materially. Or that's exactly the same. So they may go up or down for the same reasons, but I guess in what way they go up or down. We talked about Giga Nevada expansion. Let's go back to the Tesla Semi for now. My wife brought me some non-stale snacks because the snack I had to snack it on was stale. She either wants milk or a diaper change. She's decided that they both should be the same word now. Ning. Is she hungry or wet? She's hungry.
She's sleepy.
Oh, she's always sleepy, like you. Dan is confirming that I was right about the Hampton Inn and Suites. And so we're talking about the same one here. I met somebody who Turos their Teslas, their Model X and Model 3s, and had another Model 3 on the way, charging there and meeting a customer. So anyway, Pepsi confirms their first Tesla semi-trucks will support different operations at 2 different facilities. So they're not both going to be hauling chips, which is fair. So maybe one will be hauling drinks, the other will be hauling chips or snacks, and it's good to see they'll be putting them at use. And hopefully they will be open and public about what's going on, so we can get an idea of how well the electric transition to heavy trucking is going. They're receiving their Class 8 trucks in December on the 1st, according to them and Elon. We'll be working out of the Frito-Lay facility in Modesto, where a megacharger has already been installed. The semi will also be working out of the PepsiCo beverages plant in Sacramento. So there's a supercharger in Sacramento, I believe. Or sorry, a Tesla semi-charger. And then there's one at Giga Nevada, as well as the one that we know about in Modesto. So there are three megachargers already installed, but there'll be more. Pepsi recently placed an order for 100 Tesla semis shortly after it was announced in 2017. Been waiting 5 years, baby. The company was most recently expecting to take delivery up to 15 units last year, when the CEO said during an interview on CNBC that they would receive them before the end of 2021. Elon time, baby. 1 year early. Or he said it 1 year early, or they get them 1 year late, however you want to look at it. That was obviously delayed until now. But like I was saying at the time, the fact the way that Tesla operates, the longer they wait to get that first one out to you, the better the product will be for you, and then the better all the subsequent ones will be, because they do kind of get a little iterative, like, hey, let's a little tweak there, a little change there. So the later it is, the better experience usually is. But if the whole thing starts late, then they're not stuck with anything like some of the legacy they have from the Model S and Model X. Even the Plaids still have a lot of stuff left over from them that still could be different, but is not, because they can just continue with what was already there and just build upon it. All right, so when it does, it'll be able to travel 500 miles or 804 kilometers. That's substantial. On a single charge while fully loaded. You can recharge to 70 in 30 minutes, 70%. It'll also offer impressive straight line acceleration, being able to reach 60 miles per hour in 20 seconds. It may sound like much, but it is when you compare that time against a traditional diesel semi, which can take 60 seconds to reach 60 miles per hour. Fair enough. At 100, but I hear the fan, so I guess it must be leveling the cells. Yeah, because the auxiliary batteries aren't receiving any charge now. All right. This one is pretty cool from Riven. Riven turns on a solar charging yard with enough capacity to charge 72 EVs at once. Look at that. You get a shaded truck or van, as well as full charge. That's the way to do it. Riven hopes to soon be able to charge all new electric vehicles coming out of their factory in Normal, Illinois, with 100% renewable energy. The automaker took the first step in making that happen, flipping the switch on their brand new solar charging yard. I don't know if I can see that from the road. The solar charging yard has the capacity to charge 72 vehicles at once, with all the energy being used to power the Rivian DC fleet system coming out from the 783 kilowatt solar panel system. That's pretty cool. The Rivian solar charging yard was built in partnership with Forefront Power. According to the company, the facility can generate 1.04 million kilowatt hours of electricity per year. Oh my goodness. So 1.04 gigawatt hours, right? Not bad. Which will help Rivian avoid emitting 800 tons of CO2 per year. That's good. Over the weekend, Rivian shared impressive video of the facility showing it filled up with brand new R1T, R1S, and electric delivery vans, getting their first for the first DC fast charge from the sun. We flipped the switch on our solar charging yard in Normal. It uses our Rivian DC fleet system to charge 72 vehicles at once. We're also working to install a 2.8 megawatt wind turbine. Oh, good. And there's a lot of wind in the area, so that's fine. which means that soon our R1 vehicles will be getting their first charge entirely from on-site renewables. Let's take a look. Ooh. Okay. That looks nice. Oh, so they actually did some interviews under this facility, so we've seen it before. They were showing off the Riven van to a couple people. I like the way that the DC cables kind of hang down from the top. This may be how the on-road refueling stops look in the future, especially at like Buc-ee's. Just because 72 spots is quite large. That's really cool. I like it. Question. It says most home solars are plus or minus 10 kilowatt. Yeah, that's true. The equivalent of 80 homes. So yes, it's a 10-hour charge. Article says DC. It doesn't say DC fast. It just says DC. Moving on. Let's go back to China. Shanghai stays open during the week-long National Day holiday. The Tesla China workers earn triple pay. Yeah, I'll work for triple pay. I'll work through a holiday for triple pay. Double pay, maybe, depends on the holiday, but triple pay, I'll work through a holiday. China's observing the National Day holiday, which runs from October 1st to 7th. Yeah, a lot of Chinese companies I get stuff from, they went on break, and they're back now, or they will be back tomorrow, I should say. However, the staff will be well compensated. China is observing the National Day from the 1st to the 7th. Information was obtained from 2 workers at the plant by a local media outlet, Time Weekly. To compensate for their inconvenience, workers would get triple their regular salary. One of the employees quoted by Time Weekly claimed that he was paid 3 times his daily wage, worth $170 from October 1st to 3rd. So is that the bump or is that pre-bump? Because if it's post bump, then he normally makes $56 for that time. But if it's pre-bump, then he's going to make $510 for that time. Under Chinese labor laws, the opportunity to earn triple pay comes a few times a year. Only on government-backed holidays can workers earn this way. On other holidays, workers are entitled to double their regular pay. Okay. Like I said, it depends on the holiday, whether I would do it or not. But China agrees. Workers can earn jumbo pay on 11 days of the year. However, they will be sacrificing spending time with their family. Yes, this is why you need to compensate extra for it, so that people will be willing to do it. It's typical for companies in China to keep operating during the holidays. Not all of them. Despite working through the holidays, Tesla China has slightly increased waiting times for its car, but that may have to do with Tesla's decision to keep output below Giga Shanghai's capacity until the end of the year. That's fine. Tesla China also updated their purchase agreement, giving buyers in China now have less time to pick up their cars. That's fine too. I mean, it sucks if you were on vacation when your car comes ready, though. Oh, they won lawsuits over false claims in China. We'll look at that next. So clearly demand in China is not an issue. Why would you pay your worker 3 times the pay if there's nobody to buy the car? Exactly. I'd be like, hey, see y'all Monday. Pay them 3 times for nothing, nah. But if you can make the money, then yeah. All right, so this is an old article. I assume we've already discussed it. If I didn't, oh well. Moving on. I need to like shave my mustache before the show so it doesn't tickle my nose. Elon Musk shares a video of the Boring Company's Prufrock 2 testing in Texas. Prufrock 2 emerging from the ground.
We're here at the Boring Company. Got little X.
Oh, isn't that cute?
Steve. Got Saxon. And we have a phone party.
In the tweets, people asked if they were caught up to the snail yet, and no, they cannot beat Gary the Snail, even with this new one. Oh yeah, so it's much faster than the first generation boring machine known as Godot Plus. Proofrock 2 isn't quite fast enough to pass the average garden snail. However, Musk isn't giving up, adding that one of the tunnel boring company's boring machines, Proofrock 3, might be able to beat Gary the Snail by the end of 2024. If so, that's really fast. That's good. The snail mascot was introduced in 2018 to illustrate how fast the boring company machines are compared to the average garden snail. Proofrock 2 was first unveiled in August of 2021 and is the successor to Proofrock 1, which was used to bore the Las Vegas boring loop. Cool. It must be cell balancing because it says full, but it's still blowing the fans. And this is how it works. Day 0, Proofrock arrives on site. Day 2, Proofrock launches. Day 3, Proofrock tunnels. Day 4, Proofrock surfaces. Day 5, Proofrock departs the site. That's pretty cool. So 5 days. So this is probably just a tunnel under this road that they're demonstrating here. So a week. That's not bad. I mean, when you look at how long Boston took to get their big dig done. No comments on that one. Be nice if they could put panels on the back. Yeah, I think that the electric van would be a good one to have panels on for like kind of like how Nissan did with the little one on the spoiler for like a trickle charge with 12 volt, but put them on the whole roof of the van for anybody who doesn't need a roof rack. Either put it above the roof rack or on the roof rack or under the roof rack. I don't care. And then use that to add a couple miles a day of charge, or to power whatever your customer is using inside the van. Like if they're like a contractor or something, they can use it to power their saws or whatever. And then of course for the RVers, it'll be right there powering the house batteries. All right, where did oh, there it is. And then for the trucks, that would like Tesla was talking about doing with the Cybertruck, that would make a nice little booster for the tonneau. Oops, almost pasted that in the wrong window. Y'all would have been like, where'd he go? Tesla sets another production and delivery record for quarter 3 of 2022. I think we talked about this. Yeah, we did, because it happened on Sunday. So skip. I don't want to ask a question. Oh, okay, those are options. Fisker is planning Fisker. Fisker is planning an expansion to India. First sales possibly by then possibly local production. So I wonder if this is like everybody else. Like you can sell it in India for like double and triple the price, and then if you build it in India, you can sell it for a normal price. Let's see if they say. Before they've started production of the Ocean, Fisker is already thinking ahead to considering setting up a manufacturing facility in India. Plan to launch the Ocean in India next year, despite high import taxes that will put it out of reach of most buyers in the country. They would need to see local sales of between 30,000 and 40,000 per year, which is the same argument that Tesla had. Like with the import fees, you don't know how many you can actually sell. But is it worth building a factory if you can't make your volume out of it? Because they already have China right there. Let me turn off the power here real quick. Turn off these lights. Put them back on. And now we're running solely on battery and solar rather than a mixture of battery, solar, and AC. Let's see, we're pulling in. Pulling in 102 watts from the sun right now on full batteries. Not bad. Oh. They've also announced the Pear EV. I don't know. Let's watch and see what happens with Fisker. Let's get some cars on the road. But talking of companies that have had trouble getting cars on the road, Faraday Future. There's a blast from the past. The Faraday Future FF91 gets an official EPA range of 381 miles. Now, recently Faraday Future got done with a lawsuit from one of their shareholders, and now they're back on track to working their way towards production. And if you don't remember what the Faraday Future FF91 looks like this. Seats 4. Despite being long and wide, it seats 4. Not 6, not 7, 4. It's a luxury vehicle. It's designed, for you to be chauffeured around because it's got like a big teleconferencing suite in the back. It's very much at home in China, and we'll see how well it does here in the States. I think it would probably do better if it had, level 5 full self-driving, because then you could sit in the back and have your conferences rather than drive it, then get in the back and have your conference, and then get back in front and drive it some more. All right, so the confirmation of our 381 miles of range by the EPA is truly exciting news for FF and validates what we know about the FF91. The segment-leading FF91 will be the first high-end, high-performance luxury intelligent SUV and will reset customer expectations for both driver and passenger experience via Inside EVs. Although we're not surprised by the announcement, we should note that Faraday has conveniently forgotten about one of the other major players in the luxury EV industries in its boastful claims. The Lucid Air Dream Edition comes in at an industry-leading 520 miles of EPA range, blowing the FF91 out of the water. To this, I will say that if they just add the word SUV or crossover, they can claim this without having to have these call-outs like this. Because the Lucid Air is a sedan, an executive saloon with a hatchback. FF91 looks to be putting together a solid EV that will do well on the market. Currently, the specs include 1,050 horsepower from 3 electric engines. Sounds Plaid-ish. Remember, the Plaid is 1020 with 3 electric engines. 130 kilowatt-hour battery, 0 to 60 in 2.39 seconds, and now 381 miles of range. Congratulations to them. Would like to see them on the road. And then hopefully they don't call me on my free reservation. Hey, your car's ready. What do you want to do? Not buy a $100,000 car, that's for sure. Edmonton Transit launches a hydrogen electric bus pilot. So after I just got done poo-pooing over the Toyota hydrogen car, electric buses stand a little bit more of a chance because they aren't expected to be going out of town. They drive a set route, and assuming that you make the hydrogen green instead of gray, as far as the production methods, not the color, because it's the odorless, colorless gas that burns clear. With a clear flame, like literally you cannot see it burning without like a heat detecting camera or something, or touching it and burning yourself. Yeah, so they stand more of a chance to work in buses, airplanes, large ships, trains. But even then, I don't think that the physics of it, I don't think it works out that they would be very useful, except in the case where you need a 15-minute or less refuel. But then again, with the advancements in charging and battery technology, we're already at 15 minutes for a significant amount of range recovered. And then 30 minutes will get you everything you need for your next stop. Not full, but everything you need for your next stop. If successful, the pilot will provide some time for the region to equip facilities. It's unclear how the new buses will be refueled. 5 hydrogen stations in all of Canada. Yep. So I was off by 1. So there's not just 4. There's 5. 4 of them are in BC and 1 in Quebec. We reached out to the City of Edmonton for clarification, and we'll update the article when we receive a response. In a statement to Drive Tesla, the City of Edmonton's Fleet and Facility Services branch manager, Eddie Robar, says the buses will be refueled at the first hydrogen vehicle station at Alberta's Suncor Edmonton liquefied petroleum gas facility. So it looks like they're going to either add or convert one of the LPG tank stations to a hydrogen pump. All right, so they'll have 6. There were more of them in the U.S., but all of them closed down except the ones in California. Like there's one in D.C., there was one in South Carolina. That's a picture. That was a map. I was trying to scroll on it. Did it show? No, it didn't show. I just showed the mouse go down. Using a leased mobile hydrogen storage trailer. Okay, so no, they're not even going to add convert or add a pump. They're just going to fill you right off the back of the truck. From high tech, with the hydrogen fuel being generated by Suncor. Hopefully that means solar, but I won't count out greenwashing with these companies. The same is true for Strathona County's new hydrogen fuel cell electric bus, he says. All right. Battery technology is not new to Edmonton. The city has operated a fleet of 60 battery electric buses since 2020. So hopefully when they go to compare them, they'll decide which they want to go with, and it'll probably be electric when you look at the maintenance and fuel costs. But we'll see. This one is a little bit older. I found it when I was getting more of the articles into the notes from my phone, which I didn't complete because of wiggles. Tesla is no longer providing chrome license plate frames on the new Model 3 and Y deliveries. One, it's yet another case of Tesla cheaping out. Like, yeah, nobody uses these things. Two, it really does kind of match the new Model 3 and Ys where they have black trim, except for the Tesla T logo. Everything is black. So having yet another piece of chrome on there was weird. Sometimes these changes can be controversial, like removing the passenger lumbar support because Elon Musk said nobody's using it. They made another change, removing an accessory that was standard in the Model 3 and Y, a chrome license plate frame. 3 and Y vehicles built after August 6th of 2022 will now come without a license plate frame. Since the change is tied to the vehicle build date and not delivery date, there will still be deliveries in the coming weeks with a frame as inventory is cleared out through the transition. In an email to employees, Tesla says this change is being made to further remove chrome from these vehicle designs and save money. To somewhat compensate for this, we've also learned that Tesla will start selling a black license plate frame from their online shop later this year. Because if it was just about the aesthetics, they would change the chrome to black at some cutoff date. They're not changing it; they're stopping and making you buy it. Sorry for being cynical, but it's what it is. But all these little nickels and dimes are how they got their credit rating increased. Which, as Dan pointed out, is ridiculous that it was junk for as long as it was, given what they were accomplishing. To somewhat compensate for this, if you really want a chrome license plate frame on the Model 3 and Y, they're still available to order from the Tesla shop for 50 Canadian or 40 US dollars. Yeah, no thank you. While they will no longer be including a license plate frame, Tesla has added some new features this month to the Model Y, like updating the door panels and adding matrix headlights to the long-range variant. Unfortunately, the new headlights is only a temporary change due to a current shortage of non-matrix headlights. There it is. Tesla adds satin black frames to the online shop. Powered by the sun. Yeah, I could put that on mine. Powered by the sun is the same price as the outgoing chromes. The ones that say Model 3, same thing. The ones that say Model Y, same thing. Oh, cool. And I would get one that says powered by the sun. Put it on my Cybertruck. I've got a chrome one on my Model X. Because it came with it for free. All-wheel drive. Copy this link. GM is to increase the Chevy Bolt EV and EUV production on record Q3 sales. Huh, go figure. People want electric cars. Maybe we should make more of them. So General Motors on Monday, a total of 14,709 Bolt EVs and EUVs were sold between July and September, the highest number ever achieved by the two vehicles. Not bad. GM said there's unprecedented demand for both, likely due to the low prices compared to other EVs on the market today. Yes, and the fact that gas is sky high. Not as high as it has been, but still higher than it needs to be for people's budgets. It's lower than it needs to be for society, like protecting the environment and all that. The EV1LT starts at $26,595, following a price cut in June, while almost all other EVs are seeing price increases. Yes. So GM will be going up to they currently make 44,000 units per year. They're going up to 70,000 units per year in 2023. Not a bad move. You can do better, GM, but not a bad move. GM says it will introduce 30 new EVs by 2025, but as of today, it offers less than a handful. The Bolt made up a majority of the automaker's EV sales in the third quarter. Yeah, when you make a bunch of vehicles that start at 25, and then the next step up from the 25 family is $112,000. There's a little bit of a room to fill that spectrum up, because not everybody wants something this big, heavy, or hard to park. I mean, I wouldn't find it hard to park, but we've seen some people parking Honda Fits and Priuses, so yeah, they don't need to be driving a tank. I just checked the Canadian Chevrolet site. It looks like Canada didn't get the price reduction, 20% that made headlines in June. Is it still expected? Because right now it lists for about 42K. Oh, that sucks. Just like we saw with the when Ford screwed over that family, that they raised the price. Darren says that's correct. We reached out to GM Canada at the time about the corresponding price drop north of the border and didn't receive a response. So we don't expect a price drop here, unfortunately. Hopefully we're wrong, and if it were going to happen, it probably would happen by now. I agree. Man, so you guys in Canada keep getting the short end of the stick. All right, so another copy of GM accelerates the factory. Oh no, this is different. This is different. Mini tweaks. GM accelerates factory zero upgrades on 170,000 Silverado EV reservations. The factory zero, which is going to make the Silverado EV in a dedicated plant, they're moving it up, which makes sense because everybody else is like eating their lunch with electric trucks, and all they've got is the Hummer EV. And so their starting price is a lot higher than all of their competition. Move this up here. Move this to the top. All right, so Silverado EV was announced on January 5th, still scheduled to enter production in the spring of 2023. It proved immediately popular, with the company racking up more than 110,000 reservations in the first month. And by the end of July, that's gone to 150. Announcing Q3 production and delivery figures today, GM says they're now approximately 170,000 reservations for the Silverado EV. Due to the increasing demand, GM said it would move up plans to upgrade the body shop at Factory Zero. The factory said that automaker said it would also be taking other steps to prepare for scale production in 2023. They cited the popularity of the Hummer EV for accelerated plan. Yeah, the Hummer EV is selling way better than they expected. Last month, GM stopped taking reservations after accumulating more than 90,000 reservations for the Hummer EV. 90,000 times 112,000. Assuming everybody got the base model, which we know they won't because they're Hummer buyers. That is $10.08 billion in sale price, assuming that they don't get to a dealer that marks them up. Wow. And just in Hummers. So Factory Zero is formerly GM's Detroit Hamtramck plant, Hamtramck. That's where my Volts were built. and 1985. Company announced in 2019 it was transforming the plant into Factory Zero with a $2.2 billion investment and officially opening the retool facility 2 years later in November of 2021. Cool. We talked about Riven growth. Let's talk a little bit about China again some more. Chinese EV automakers report bummer sales for September, but analysts predict a bumpy road ahead. I mean, they did have a COVID shutdown. Upbeat sales in 2022 for NIO, Li Auto, and Xpeng. However, analysts have rained on their parade with predictions of increased competition and new energy vehicle market. Well, you should be able to weather competition. That's how it's supposed to work in a growing market. If you can't survive in a growing market, then you didn't have a very good product, did you? Or your setup was wrong for your finances. Tesla Model Y was the most popular car sold in New Zealand in August. Tesla fans in New Zealand couldn't wait for the electric SUV to launch in their country, as if they had a choice. Like, they're pre-sold coming into the country. Anyway, according to the sales data from New Zealand, a total of 1520 Model Ys were registered in the country in September. The Model Y was delivered to New Zealand in mid-August. There you go. In terms of other battery pack vehicles, the second most popular was the BYD Atto at 221, the MG ZS EV at 178, and the Model Y is not only impressive because it was the top-selling car of any kind in New Zealand last month, but also because it was the most popular car in a country that loves pickup trucks, or utes, as they are referred to in that part of the world. The Hilux and the Ranger are the two best-selling vehicles in New Zealand so far through the first 9 months of the year. Even though Tesla only introduced the Model Y in New Zealand in mid-August, the 2 weeks of deliveries of the SUV and regular sales of the Model 3 were enough to make Tesla the fourth most popular car brand in the country that month. Wow. Popularity was not unexpected because Model Y is going to be the best-selling car in the world. Anyway, with that, I want to thank all the channel members and patrons. The rest of the articles that Wiggles stopped me from getting in, I will add the ones that are worth talking about next week to next week's show, and we'll catch you on the flip side.